All right, boys. So this is the third and final coaching session I got while I was a member at Chess Dojo, um, the chess online chess training club. Um, about I don't know 2 or 3 weeks after this particular coaching session, I reevaluated um, whether I should be putting this much time into chess and training chess. Um, and basically, I pulled away from it for a season because I felt like I got a lot done in growth of chess and playing chess, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I really wanted to get back to the robot and developing the artificial intelligence for the robot and doing a bunch of coding projects and also, DIY home improvement and working on my hydroponics garden and whatever. I just had a lot of other initiatives and goals and stuff I wanted to shift my focus on. I can always come back to chess in the future and pick up where I left off, but this idea of just maintaining playing chess on a daily basis or weekly basis, long term, and taking it seriously, just is not an option I'm interested in. I like to just work on something pretty focused, maybe one or two things besides it, but mainly one or two things. And then when the time comes, I just kind of put projects on pause and work on something else for a couple months or whatever. So I'm just not going to work on chess at all until I feel like it. So right now I don't feel like it. So anyways, this is the third and final coaching session of that crazy chess binge season of like 2 months that I was pounding out, learning chess and reading chess books and whatever. All right, peace out. I'll get started with the coaching here. Oh, testing, 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 testing. Okay. Go. Boom, boom.
Hey, yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. All right, I didn't know you were in this room, so I was
Yeah, this is how
confused,
I
but
did
here
it
we go.
before. And plus, one of us can click stream, and then people can literally just like join in and chime in or whatever, or learn along with us.
Cool, interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is I've done postmortems before, but I've never like looked over games together yet with anyone on Discord. So this is cool learning experience here.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've done it a couple times this week.
Yeah, I want to do it more because I think I learn well by trying to explain things to other people too. You know what I mean? And then other people like hit you with stuff that they're seeing that you're not finding. So it's like I think it's a really good way to get better.
Yeah, for sure. I I definitely like the plus minus equals. The whole idea of it just makes complete sense to me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Um, so if you go live, does that mean I'm live too, or what? Or do I have to do anything, or are we good?
Um, this just means I'm sharing my classroom window capture to the Discord, and then people can
Okay.
people can click on our voice channel and just see the stream and listen to us. But nobody may do that. It's just the idea would be to create opportunities for people in the dojo to just find out what's going on with other people. Because otherwise, if nobody ever is in the dojo and talking, people feel like the dojo Discord is kind of dead. It's just text only. So it's kind of nice to go live and let other people who are interested just connect and see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with it. That's a cool idea.
That's kind of how I met people the first time. They were streaming live, and the whole voice channel had 5 people just kind of listening in, and then you get to meet people and just start asking questions and just get to know people. So that led to my first ever game analysis session with some people.
Oh, okay, cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I'm looking for people to get some of the classic games with too in my cohort, so that's probably a good way to try to go about it as
yeah,
well.
for
So
sure. That is a good way.
yeah. All right. So what are we? Okay. So you're playing. This was a 60-minute. Oh, cool. I can control the moves too here.
Yep. All I had to do is open up Classroom and then browse my game archive, load it up, and then I copied the link to send to you. Once you joined, I had to click on to the right of your name is 3 little dots. I had to click on that and then click on promote to leader or something like that. And now you have the control of the left, right arrows and stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know. Do you have control over the arrows as well?
I don't think so. I think only one guy is promoted to leader, and then he has it. Otherwise, it might get chaotic and confusing if people are all clicking on it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
It's
see
like
that.
I think a
All
lot of
right.
times Classroom is with one teacher and like 10 students. I'm not saying in the dojo, but like if somebody used this for a course, they would have all their students trolling and like clicking the buttons, and nobody would know who did
Yeah,
it.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah,
Uh, okay, so this is a 60-minute rapid game you played then. Um, and you played this last week,
yeah.
maybe it looks like last Saturday. Okay. All right.
Just asking, is the stream blank for you also, or are you looking at the stream too?
Oh, is it blank? Okay, that's because I'm using the desktop app, so it must not be working for me. How about you click share screen on your Discord because it's not working for mine. It was just
Maybe
sharing.
maybe just try it again. You might have just selected the wrong window. Sometimes that happens.
I don't think so. I think I selected the right window, but my Discord is on Firefox and I cannot see people's live streams on Discord, nor can I share apparently. So it's a bug with my browser.
Yeah, the browser one. Yeah, like I said, not quite as good.
Yeah. So Funkmaster, could you go back to Discord and click on share screen? It should be on the bottom left. Share your screen button.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I popped in here, by the way, is Funkmaster is my name on Steam.
Oh,
So
yeah. There we go.
I was like, oh
That's
man, there's another one.
Is there room in the dojo for 2 Funk Masters, do you think?
yeah, of course.
All right, man. All right, good. I feel
I'm the
this one
Funk
way.
Master General, you're the International Funk Master. So I think you
Yeah, there we
take
go.
precedence.
Okay, that works. All right. So, I'm having trouble. Okay, so let's see.
I just messaged you the Classroom knows, so that way you could share it if he doesn't want to figure it out or or if it's just quicker that way. I don't mean.
Yeah, I do see it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm having trouble figuring it out, but if you wouldn't mind, maybe.
So just on just for the future, because it is kind of useful. Do you see you're on desktop version, right? International.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So you see where it says voice connected at the bottom left, and it's in green. Hopefully.
Yeah, I found it. I just have the drop down menu.
Yeah. So
Here.
when you click share, go to screens. Don't go to applications. Go to screens,
Oh, okay.
and then you can just choose whichever. It'll say like which monitors you have. So if you have multiple monitors, you can just choose to stream one of them.
Okay, I see.
And just click it and say go live. It should work.
Okay. Are you going to be streaming it then?
No, because I'm also kind of working, so I'm going to dip in and out. But
Oh, okay. Let me see if maybe I can figure it out. Is this working?
Yeah, it should be.
Live. Let me see. Yep, I can see.
Hey,
Totally.
Jet. Room for one more.
Hi, Izzy.
Yeah, of course.
Can anyone see now, or did it?
Yeah, I can see your chess.com website.
We're
Can you
just
see now? Can you see the classroom, like the board right now?
Oh, did you do something? No, it still shows the messages that you were looking at.
Like, they shared the wrong one. I shared my private messages with my chess coach. So I don't
Oh,
want
okay.
people to read.
No, that's the only thing we can see right now, actually. So maybe you should. Did you make a new
Okay.
tab or something, or?
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll try it again. Share screen, and I think I only have one. Well, if I do entire screen, shouldn't that work?
Yeah, that's how I usually do it.
Do you see it now?
Yeah,
Can you
perfect.
see the?
Perfect.
Okay. All right. And there's a couple other people here. What are so feel free to jump in too. I'm not like the highest rated player on the Discord by any means, so but we'll struggle through it. So, okay. So everybody's all right. Let's see. All right. So, what kind of like opening stuff do you usually play?
My goal right now, because they said at my rating level, like on the video, it said not to focus on learning openings and stuff like that. They said just focus on
Right.
development and stuff. So I don't actually know any openings. I've never learned one.
Oh, okay.
But then I
I'm
accidentally.
curious about.
Well, no, actually, I know like the first three moves of like the Roy Lopez. I know a couple, but I don't even know if it's still called the Roy Lopez if he doesn't go knight to c6. I don't know if they still even call it that. I'm not sure how that all
Exactly.
works.
It would not be called that. It would be
Oh,
called
really?
something else.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So the name of opening has to do with the position on the board up from both sides. You can't just blindly
Yes.
do something and then call it the same name.
Exactly. Yeah. And in
Yeah.
fact, if you do it against different things, it might be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Or it might be just a completely different opening. So
Got
if you
it.
play the same thing but in the Sicilian, so maybe if you want to just put it on the board so everyone can see this, just play from the beginning e4 and play c5, and then knight f3. So you're going to play the same thing from white, which is the I'm going to play the Roy Lopez, right, which is knight c6 here as black.
Yeah.
Yep. And then bishop e5. So this would be quote unquote the Roy Lopez if the pawn was on e5, but because it's on c5, this is a Sicilian variation. This has nothing to do with the Roy Lopez, and this is actually called the Rossolimo Sicilian
goodness.
variation.
Wow.
So this is absolutely nothing in common, honestly, with the Roy Lopez. They're like completely different in basically every way, and 99.99% of the time, you're going to be playing bishop takes c6 here, whereas in the Roy Lopez, like, you never play bishop takes c6. It's the pressure is usually worth more than the execution.
Oh wow, I didn't know that
But-
either.
yeah, so they're just very different. We play them differently, and the plans are different. It's just a completely different game. Yeah.
I think that's why they don't want us to worry about openings. 'cause it's,
Exactly. Yeah, small things
that-
like
that
that
would-
just completely turn on its head. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Well, okay. So we're on move 2 here, and I'm curious about the decision knight c3. I'm curious what you were thinking on this move and what your thoughts are, like looking at it.
I think I wanted
retrospect.
to defend e4 from their knight just taking it. Like if I went like bishop to f or bishop to b5, their knight could just take my pawn for free. So I was like, it's either I protect that pawn with knight to c3, or I've got to go like d3, but that's too timid because that blocks in my light scored bishop. So that's why
There
I did
is
that.
one other move you haven't mentioned. which
Oh,
is pretty
d4.
important.
D4.
That is also another move, but no, the most fundamental move here.
Oh, I know it. I know it. Knight takes e5.
Yeah, you could have just taken a free pawn, so that's something to consider too.
And I did that one game, and then he just goes knight takes e4, and then I go back to knight to f3, I think, and then it's
wait, but why would you do that? Why would you play knight f3? Why not develop a piece?
I think I saw the engine say that one time, so I just remembered it for future, but I'm not sure. I could develop a piece, maybe. I don't know.
Now, queen e2 here would be a better move. Just developing and pinning the knight. So if he copies you with queen e7, then you take his knight, and you just defended your knight, so you're up a piece.
Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty.
Now there is one trick here though, which is he can play d6 at the end there. Queen takes e4. No, first play queen takes e4, yeah, and then d6 here, and your knight is pinned to your queen, so you actually can't get out of it.
Oh.
Like, okay, you're losing the piece back, but if you play d4 here, and now we're getting too deep, it doesn't matter, but if you play d4 and you take back with the pawn, then you're just up a pawn. So you don't win a piece, but you win a pawn.
Yeah, this is interesting because I never play e4, so I don't see things like this very often.
Right, because your pawn's defended on d4, so you have to use your time.
Exactly. Exactly. I never worry about this kind of shit. So
I guess, yeah, I just wouldn't take with knight, even though that is a book move. I remember that from the past, but he just can do the same thing, and so I just I don't feel like I gain anything. I don't want to like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of cheesy to do it. Like just normal development's kind of all off now. I got a random knight just out of place, kind of not a natural square. Just seems kind of weird.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I wonder if there's anything else to play here.
Well, in this position, Queen E2 is really good. If you want to play something a little dubious, you can play Bishop C4.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
And hope that they don't see D5.
Well, yeah, because that cements their knight a little bit
Yeah.
here for at least temporarily. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much. Yeah, this doesn't look particularly good. So people at your level might not see this, but you probably shouldn't play Hope Chess though, no matter what rating you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bad habit. Okay, so instead you play Knight C3, and I don't play E4. Is this something like the Italian game or something, or what? I mean, I know that openings don't matter. We all get that, but like, could you play the Evans Gambit here? That's really popular for beginners, right?
You can't play the Evans Gambit against when you've played Knight C3, because the main point of the Evans Gambit is to play C3 and then D4. You can't play C3
okay.
if your knight's already on C3.
Yeah, right, okay. Okay, so Bishop C5. Bishop C4. This is like nearly symmetrical. That's interesting. I wonder what your thought was about playing this move.
Well, I wanted to clear out for castle, just keep developing, and then also I could now move my d pawn freely, even to d3. I have more options now that my light scored bishop's not just sitting there in the back. So I'm getting closer to castling this way, and then I feel like if I went to bishop to b5, I would have like a pawn maybe kick me out or something. So I just felt like this is a good square, kind of, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
No, I agree with everything you just said, but there's still, again, a really crucial move that you didn't consider. And that's, what if you take the pawn on e5?
Oh yeah, I could. That's a free pawn, maybe. Is it? Or is there some punishment for that? I don't know. Yeah, I probably could have just taken it for free, right?
That's good. That's got to be the first move you look at, right? Every time
No, I didn't.
someone gives you a pawn, you got to at least consider what else if you take.
I didn't look at it only because I didn't look at, or I ruled it out the last move, so it no longer like was on my radar. I was like, no, if I do that, he'll just take back. But then I forgot I'm guarding this time, so it's different.
Right. And it's funny you're saying that, because look at your move. You played bishop c4, and he played c6, and now you took the pawn.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about chess, though. Is it's like that I've noticed is it's all like it's some sort of like pattern recognition, but there's also there's weird things that can trigger like recognition in certain situations where there's like a move that's not played for like 2 or 3 moves and it's still viable, and you don't see it until something else on the board shifts, kind of. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know what that's about, but
Well, it also has to do with that
the blind
opportunity
spot.
now being around longer, me getting a second chance to look at it, then I'm less likely to miss it twice because I'm getting like a second chance. Also,
yeah,
the position was getting a little more complicated now, and more pieces have moved. So now I'm like slowing down a little more. Like now I got to start thinking, because the first few moves I'm like I don't really have to think as long as I find good squares, keep developing. It's kind of autopilot a little bit, to be honest, but. Now I'm kind of like, okay, maybe there's something. I got to start thinking a little bit deeper, and that's when I saw it. I was like, ooh, I could get this pawn.
How do you guys feel about bishop knight 7? sorry, that was such. Knight f7. That's what I meant to say.
Knight f7.
Yeah. You
Okay,
eventually move
whose
that
turn
way.
is it?
Well, this would be the threat right now, but if you back up one move, you couldn't play knight f7 because your knight was still on f3, right?
Yeah, if it was White's
Yeah.
turn, that I could have.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So that doesn't work. This is what was actually played. We were looking at variations earlier.
Yeah, but that would have been a really good fork if it were my turn. If I could move twice, yeah.
Yeah,
Like if he goes a6, I could do it.
yeah. Okay, d5. That's interesting. Usually not recommended to. I mean, I don't know if this is a good move or not according to the engine, but my first instinct before I even look at this is that it's not usually recommended to be opening up the center when you're not castled yourself, and black doesn't really have a lot of development really either to speak of. So this feels like kind of a. I don't know if this is theory here or if people play this because I don't play e4, but this feels kind of dubious for them to be playing this way. I don't know. What does everybody else think?
I agree. Yeah, I would take that on d5 and blast open the center and say thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you would
So
you would
instead we
go
retreat.
ex d5?
Yeah, because what he said, you're not supposed to be opening up the center when you haven't finished development.
Because I've only
So
got
pretty-
2 people hitting that square, and he's got 3. He's got the pawn, the knight, and the queen all pointing there. So I thought I would lose the exchange if we just all start taking on that square. So
No,
I didn't want to.
Just take once. I'm saying just take once.
And then he'd take with the pawn, and then I'd back
so,
up.
So now
or-
just pause though and say, notice how the center has opened up.
like bishop
that's
to
the
b5 check, or no? That's
For
weird.
instance, why not bishop d5 check? Why not? You can't block with knight c6 because I take it with the knight, and then if you take back, I take it with the bishop, and I win a piece. I win a rook. Right, your rook's just hanging, so that's good. But instead, he'll probably block with like the bishop or something, like bishop d7, and then let's play knight takes. He takes back with literally any piece, and we have a huge lead in development. We can castle. He's in pins. We can play d4 if we want. We have like all the stuff. We got all the stuff.
Okay. So what's the rule of thumb here? Because like every time I consider a take, I'm like, what's the full exchange look like? I never think about like just take once. I don't think that way. I just am like, nope, they're gonna win this exchange if we all keep taking.
Right. Yeah, you're doing like counting until the end, but instead, I'm just looking at trading one pair of pawns and then saying, great, that opened up the position more.
Okay.
Yeah, and as someone that, only recently got back into playing, I can say that there's definitely a period at the beginning where you don't even consider not taking something. Like sometimes you could just push your pawn past something. You could, not take. You could like reposition yourself, and like once it opens up a whole new world when you realize that that's possible to do. There's like a lot more moves that are open to you when you start thinking that way about it.
Yeah.
And it changes your entire game when you start thinking that way. That only clicked for me like in the last month or so. So it's a big deal.
Just the idea of
welcome
not
to
taking, you're
chess.
saying?
The idea of not taking, yeah, welcome to
Oh,
chess.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think I've had that issue. I consider not taking all the time.
Okay.
Maybe too much, because like
Uh.
I could have taken earlier in the game a couple times. Now this time even. So twice in this game I didn't take and I should have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, so he decides to capture and recapture. Okay. Hmm.
that was a blunder.
Well, I wonder what's going on here with this.
I don't think he sees my knight can take his bishop if he doesn't do something about it. He just misses
Yeah,
it.
so I guess he hangs his bishop. I wonder what he should have played here. Anyone have any ideas?
I would say bishop to
Anything?
e7, just retreat it, because it's not safe. It has no pawns on it. Or maybe like maybe b6. No, because he wants to keep developing though.
Or he could maybe queen to e7.
Queen to e7. What
'Cause
do you
he's-
play here if you play this? Do you think just take the like? What do you think you play here?
I would retreat. Oh wait. Oh man, I would be in trouble. I wouldn't know what to do. Let's see. That's really bad for me. I feel like.
Well,
I can't protect both.
yeah,
Both.
you lined up with.
Oh wait, no. I know what I would do. I would take the bishop, and then he would get his choice of who to take back. But
Right, and he takes this with check. What do you do here if he takes this one with check?
oh, I would have to queen trade, and I would lose my castle, I guess.
Well, he might.
Said, no, you can't. It's illegal.
Oh, he's pinned.
Remember, trading queens is not bad, though. Sorry, I
Yeah.
said that backwards. Losing castling rights is not bad. If
It's
you
not?
trade queens.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
your king is going to be safe. That's the issue. Usually, when you lose castling rights, your king gets very unsafe. But let's say he plays queen takes queen, and you take back right here.
Well, what is white? Okay, yeah. So
No, it's
he-
black.
yeah.
Yeah. So here, king takes exactly. I'm gonna play f3 and king f2, and you tell me how my king is ever going to be attacked ever.
Wait, what is black playing here? You said?
It doesn't matter what black's playing. White is going to play f3 and king f2.
Got it.
And I'm going to say my king is completely safe forever.
And he's near the center for endgame. He can come out
True.
quicker maybe than them if they castle. If they castled.
And he doesn't have a dark squared bishop.
Yeah.
As they say there.
Maybe without hanging c2, but
Yeah, you should have played d3 to defend c2 first, but yes.
Yeah, but we're just seeing what he was saying. I don't know what black
Exactly.
plays. But.
Yeah, and obviously don't have your net stuff, but yes, exactly.
Okay, but instead he plays bishop f5, and then you take. Okay. So you retreat it. I mean, he still has queen e7 here, I think, but I mean, you could push a pawn to defend it if he does that, but. All right. So I'm interested in there's a lot of like tactics and stuff happen or like attempts at trying to kind of do attacks here, but what are we noticing about development? Is that a good question?
Well,
I wonder what
my thoughts were like, I just got up a piece, and so I'm cool with like just resetting. I'm not worried about like just missing a couple tempos because it's 3 tempos is 1 pawn. And I'm up whole piece, so I'm okay with like just getting all my pieces, not hanging, and then regrouping, and then beginning development again, but ahead.
Okay.
And I didn't want my knight to block my d pawn. That's why I brought him to b3. But I wanted him protected though, because this queen being out and everything, I just wanted to be conservative, get everybody protected, and then we can start maybe going for the center with some pawns to open up to let the dark square bishop out and stuff like that.
Okay.
Logical.
Castles. All right, he takes the open file.
That was, I think, a blunder actually. I was like, I want to kick the queen, which it worked,
Oh.
but he didn't see he could just take. I was like, oh, you idiot. Like, I was mad at myself when I did that. But actually, this game was still part of, before I learned to slow down and double check everything before I move. So that this is evidence of still that shortcoming, but this game took place before I learned that valuable lesson that I need to slow the heck down. Because look, I'm still at 54 minutes, 30 seconds in. I haven't thought much yet.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I mean, I still hang pieces sometimes, especially when I'm tired, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you saw it though. But he also doesn't. I mean, he just doesn't take. So, you know, he
didn't
trusts
see
that
it.
you're.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
he saw
yeah.
it. I think he just saw the threat and he didn't consider. Because you see how the knights are set up. It kind of looks like the F knight can protect it, but it's like one too many over. Because knights are in their non-natural spots. Normally he'd be on c3, and that pawn is normally when the knights are next to each other like this. That pawn is protected, but visually it looks like it is, but then it's like, no, it's not actually.
Yeah, this is like a psychological thing. I wonder what any of you think about this, but I've often noticed that in my own games that if my opponent plays a move that I'm not expecting, regardless of whether it's good or bad, at first it feels like it's a good move. And I give it some sort of weird respect it doesn't necessarily deserve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's playing fast, so he's just like, that good move. He just forced my queen back. Good move. Like, he's not even thinking like,
Right.
wait, was that? He's not auditing.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah,
I'll
me too.
think something sounds like it looks like a stupid move on them, and then I'm like, there's no way that was by accident. There must be some big plan here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just-
Right.
Sometimes
No, it's
just
true.
an accident.
Yeah, he thinks it's a gambit, like in a book or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you've got
Pretty intense.
something planned for him here. Reverse psychology.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but no, I think you know, if you're surprised about your opponent's move, I think it's just a good idea to just collect yourself and not assume that it's. I mean, I'm saying this to him. You know what I mean? Like it's like just don't assume anything about it. You know. But
Yeah.
okay, all right. So you, all right. So I wonder what the idea is here with rookie one.
I just thought I wanted to. It's just another development move to activate the rook, and then also, I think I wasn't sure what I want to do with the d pawn yet, because if I would have gone c3, the d pawn would have been protected by a pawn. But then if I go d4 now, I just felt like, okay, I don't need to bring my queen out. I can't move my bishop. I want to keep developing pieces. He's aggressive on me. I gotta get my pieces developed as much as possible, as soon as possible. I don't really want to even mess with pawns yet when I need more piece power, like controlling more squares. So I just
Okay,
thought
yeah.
this should be the priority for me, because he's just got too many of his big guns out, and I need to get some of my big guns out.
Yeah, so you're like contesting the open file here, and of course,
I was fine with
Takes
that
maybe-
trade, because I'm up a piece, so trading is actually good for me right now.
yeah. Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting move on your opponent's part. What do we think about that? Or what is he trying to do with this?
I think he's just trying to develop, and he noticed his normal C6 square is gone, and he didn't want to go to D7 because it kind of looks weird. So maybe he just thought, I want to move forward quicker, so I'll just go to A6 to get it forward quicker. But there might have been even more to it. I think.
It looks like he was trying to protect his a checkmate, because if you would move the rook to e8, I think there's an eventual checkmate there.
Well, I think that
Your
might be
queen.
made in. Yeah, if he didn't move his knight, it would have been made in one, right? It would have been game over.
Well, I think the queen could still protect, but
Well-
he would take the queen for free.
Well, wait, go back. What if he would have just played like B5? It would have been mate.
Yeah.
Wait,
C5. If you just play pawn C5, which doesn't do anything, the
Then-
queen can block, is what he's trying to say.
Oh,
So
the
rook
queen
takes rook,
blocks.
The queen can block. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you just took everything of his, so this is completely winning. But yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's
I think
still.
that's why he moved the knight. Move the knight so that he can protect that.
yeah. Okay. So he's trying to connect the rooks, but right? But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, this connects the rooks also, I think, right?
yeah.
So
I guess that's
maybe
just a
he's
kind of
thinking-
weird night move, maybe for our beginner rating level. You feel like you're taking. I don't know. You feel like you're only moving the knight forward by one rank. No, is it rank or file? Yeah, rank. One rank forward versus two ranks forward, and he's trying to get his knight like toward the center as quick as possible. Maybe he just thinks it's a little faster to go to A6. I don't know.
I think he was
Yeah.
just trying to get it out of the way. I don't think he was thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
I think if he moves here, he's worried that C5 and E5 you could like trade with him on maybe, but he also has F6 and his knight's more centralized, so I don't know. But he plays A6 nonetheless, and you push the pawn. Yes, that was his idea, is to jump into b4. Okay. What is he threatening on b4, if anything?
I think he wants to eventually go to c2 to fork my rooks. Like if my queen right now went to I don't know, like maybe in a couple moves from now I forget about that knight. My queen comes out to like g4 after I move my knight or something. Maybe he thinks like he just wants that knight to get that fork on c2 to get my 2 rooks forked.
Well, you played bishop g5, and what if you place knight c2?
I can that this fork still works then because he's protected. I can't take with the queen. I thought I could, so that would be devastating.
Okay, wait. Don't give him credit. What do you have?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, what should I do now if he did that?
Yeah, white is totally fine if you find a few moves. I think checks threats.
E takes. No, I mean rook takes e8, check, and then he trades, and then I can move my rook to safety, like go rook to either b1 or probably c2. I'm not sure. Maybe b1.
Which one?
I mean b1 or
Which one?
c1. I feel like maybe c1 is better because it supports kind of my pawns that are being pushed. And it also threatens the knight so that like maybe later if my queen does get out of there, I've got just another extra attacker on a piece that could become vulnerable soon.
I mean, also rook takes knight here is threatened because you'd be winning the knight and bishop for the rook, which is good for you.
Oh, you're right.
Well,
Wow.
he's trying to play it.
That's good math. I would have been like, no, I'm not giving up my rook, but you're right, I'm getting 2 pieces for 1. That is worth it.
Yeah.
I don't
exactly.
think anything works if you play rook b1, but you also wouldn't want to allow rook b1. Some knight discovery hits your rook.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
I
point.
don't think it
Yeah,
works.
discovery.
It's not worth it. But just in general, if deciding between the 2 moves, I would only look at rook c1 for that reason.
Yeah,
That's a
his
great
bishop's going to
point.
hate.
Yeah, that would be annoying to have to
Okay.
move it again.
So all that says knight c2 is not a threat. However, now we're going to play black to move. So back up right here. After bishop g5, now go back 1 move. Black to move. Can you improve upon the whole thing?
Oh,
you got to
you
back
mean
up. So
instead
just
of
put on bishop g5 and then just pause. Bishop g5. Back up 1 more. Yes. Okay. So
What do
right
we
here.
mean?
This was the game. You played bishop g5 right here, right?
yeah.
Okay. Now it's black to move, and we said knight c2 didn't work because you have rook takes rook check, and then you can save your rook.
Yeah.
Okay. So put bishop g5 on the board, and it's black to move now. Can you improve on knight c2? But can you do the same thing?
Can I improve on
Knight c2 doesn't work because I play rook takes rook check, and I'm out of it, right?
yeah.
So now black to move, checks, captures, threats. Does black have a way to make knight c2 work?
Oh. Yes, he could go bishop to e4. No, yeah, bishop to e4 would make me unable to do that check, and then I would have to see at that point and react to the threat of knight c2. I would have to move a rook.
Okay, but bishop e4 does not create a big threat, so you would be able to react, right? Like right.
If I saw it, but like if I just go like h3 right now, he's gonna get that c2 fork successfully.
Right. But okay, you're going to see it. So now, can you come up with a more forcing way for black to do
I
something?
bet you I wouldn't have seen it.
Maybe.
I'm really curious what this is. I don't see it.
I see something too,
What?
and it's I won't say anything, but there's definitely something in the spirit of
I would say
The tactic.
c5 to threaten the queen, or Okay, if it's like some kind of, or you want me to
I-
win material, because the queen would just move. Because I was thinking like if, oh, it's his turn. I thought, oh wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, it's black to move. It's
Black to move, and you're
Yeah.
saying what should black do here?
Yeah, because we
He's-
said knight c2 doesn't work because you have rook takes rook, check,
Correct.
and then you save your other rook, right?
Okay, so it's black to move. He could go bishop to e4, but you said that
It's too
I
slow.
could defend it.
Exactly. It doesn't create a threat. It's too slow, so you just avoid his one threat, and then you keep going.
Okay, I got you. Let's see. This is something I should do more, like thinking about his threats. He could go h6, forcing my bishop to move again, and creating his left escape square, which would just, I mean, it's something.
What if this
But
were
I'm
what if this were a
guessing-
tactics puzzle? Like if this was like black to play tactics, right? Do you
Right.
do puzzles on chess.com?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a tactics puzzle kind of for black right now. Like maybe we could even flip the board. Maybe that would help, right?
Yeah, maybe
Well,
that would help.
I'm looking at knight to d3. It's something.
Knight
It's
to
he's protected by the bishop, but yeah, because then I would have to like. It would force me to trade rooks at that point, I think. I don't know
Sure,
if it's
but
like anything special.
But again, notice how that's not anything special. Yes, I agree. You're creating one threat, so then I'll just trade rooks and it's fine. What's the most
hard one
forcing
to
move?
see. It's a bit of a hard one to see, but yeah, think about forcing moves, right? And checks, captures, attacks, right? Like, what's the most one of the most forcing moves in chess?
I don't see the queen doing anything. Like the queen can't take on h2. It would just get taken.
Right? That is the most forcing move. What's
I
the
don't-
next most forcing move?
Next most, he could take my rook now. He could go rook to e1, check. Rook takes e1,
Okay,
check.
and let's say you take back with the queen.
Take back with the queen, and then he would have. Oh. Uh-oh. He could go c2, knight to c2.
There you go. Right. So now we see that you actually do have a problem here as white. Your move, bishop g5, allows rook takes rook with check, and then if you took back with the queen, you have knight c2. And it's the same fork that you're trying to avoid. So now,
Yeah,
rook takes rook check, pause for 1 second. You have to make one very careful move here as white so that you don't lose.
Oh, I got it. Knight takes e1
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
protect the c2 square.
Exactly. Exactly. And then your next move is going to be a3. Just kick this knight out of here. And then you can come back with your knight, and then you can develop your queen. And then
So
you
that
can
knight coming there, his first knight move to a6 was actually very excellent move because he put me in a situation where I have to be super sharp and not make a mistake or else I'm going to lose the game pretty much.
Yes, but then also you stopped it by playing your normal moves. You played bishop g5, and that was a good move because it developed a piece and it stops his threat. Because now, if he plays knight c2, you already have rook takes rook check and rook c1. We already saw that, so you're not in any problem at all. And if he first plays rook takes rook check before doing knight c2, then you can take with the knight, no problem. So you've stopped his threats just by doing normal good moves.
I guarantee
You have
I
to
would have
see-
taken
you
with
have to
the
see
queen
that,
though.
though.
I
I
would
know,
have
right?
taken
You have
with
to
the
see it. It's very easy to fall into.
Because I'm like,
But-
look, I'm getting the open file. I'm developing my queen a little bit, and I would not have seen the fork coming. But you know what? That's good though because now I probably would have taken with the queen then, but now I would be like, if I go through my checklist, I'd be like, okay, if I do this, what would be his response? I try to play his turn. I'm like, oh no, don't take with the queen. So then I would catch it because I'm doing the like sit on your hands before you move method now. But at
Yeah.
that time, I wasn't doing that. I was just I was not sitting on my hands. I was moving as soon as I saw something good enough. And I'm out of that habit now, but on this game I wasn't. I have improved since this game. A little bit.
Okay. Okay, but instead he plays bishop d3, which is an interesting move. And okay, you play a3 kick his knight. What were you thinking when you played this move?
I think just kick his knight and I think I might have looked at like his knight kind of having a full blown retreat after that. He's a little bit trapped ish. He has to go to a6, kind of putting like slowing him way down. Like he's got to use multiple tempos just to reroute the knight like all the way around to get back toward the center. He's got to go like eight. He's got to go knight to a6 and then knight to c7 and then knight to e6, like just to kind of get back into things. And so I felt like I neutralized the knight, and then also, if he does that, I can take his his light scored bishop with my queen if I do make him run away.
Okay. Let's see what was played here. Oh, interesting. Wait, is that the... Okay, wow, interesting. All right, so you play the check here.
Yeah, I saw the
So you do-
fork, and I was like, I've got to get out of this.
Oh, well, good job, man. So you did find that there.
Yeah, I was in total panic mode. I was looking at everything, and I was like, I could do a check and get out of it.
Sure, okay. Right, and then you protect the rook. Yeah, so it's interesting that he moved... it's interesting that he moves his bishop here. That's an interesting... It's like he didn't have to do that. He could have just played the same tactic. Either way.
But we saw it doesn't work.
Maybe he wanted to get my c4 pawn, and if like things don't work out, he could get that for free because it's not protected; it's hanging. So maybe that's why.
But you said he saw that it didn't work. Does it work now with bishop?
Well, you tell me. You tell me. So
Unfortunately,
play a3. Just play a3. Put that on the board, and then he plays knight c2, and you tell me, does this work?
No, because
I mean,
traded.
it doesn't
rooks.
for the reason.
After I
Yeah.
trade
I mean,
rooks,
you
I
played-
get the bishop too. I'm pretty sure the bishop's hanging.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, that's what you should have done. You should have taken the bishop, though.
Oh wait, I should have. Oh no, I
You were
missed.
scared about losing your rook.
I'll lose
but
my
then knight
rook.
takes again, and you're completely winning here again.
Yeah, but nothing bad happens to you. You're going to get two pieces, kind of regardless of what you do. You get two pieces for a rook. You will lose the rook somewhere. So you either take on c2 with the rook and trade everything on c2, or you do this way and on d3 and a1. Either way, you get the same kind of material disbalance.
I didn't see the knight protects the rook, and I just thought like I don't want to lose my rook. The whole point of me sacking my first rook was to not have me lose a free rook. So I'm still in rook protection mode in my mind. So I'm like I got to get that rook out of there. I didn't consider that the b3 knight can take back, and I'm getting two pieces for a rook. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, like he's got to be a bit careful here. Like there are tactics still for black.
Yeah, it's a little messy still.
It's very messy. Yeah. Well, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, what move do we play as black here? Do we think? Let me just see what was played first. Okay.
Yeah,
what move do we
that's why it's messy in my head. That's why it's messy.
His knight is completely trapped. Yeah, I get to.
Yeah, which is why he desperados. But yeah,
The funny thing is here again, you could play queen takes d3. You don't have to take the
that's
knight.
that's what I was looking at. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You can play this.
It's the same thing, but now you're down a pawn from what you just had 2 seconds ago.
Okay.
I didn't think very long about this. This was like 30 seconds, this whole thing.
Yeah, we still have 47 minutes on the clock, and we're almost in an end game, kind of.
Yeah, so if I would have thought more, I would have saved a pawn. We're saying, right?
Okay, yeah, so he takes. All right. Well, I wonder what the idea behind h3 was.
Um. Oh, I saw like a rook and a queen can both come to my back rank in one move. I have only one. Well, I guess the knight's a back rank defender. I wasn't considering that, but I was just like, I don't care what's going on. I want an escape square because I'm seeing back rank mate coming, and he did end up checking me, and I used that escape square later on. So it was, in my opinion, a good move at this point. I just felt like I don't want to be in this type of situation. I hate having no escape square.
Okay, so it's kind of like preparing for later, maybe if you get into trouble.
Big time, yeah. And I didn't really see anything amazing anyways at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like a waiting move.
Okay. Um, what do we think about this move by our opponent?
I thought it was pretty good because I was like, he's gonna. Oh wait. I think he could have. He was thinking like I'm gonna get this f2 pawn. I think with the rook, and then I can't take back, and yet he's still protecting his queen. And then maybe he was hoping I would queen trade as well. And then he would check. No, he couldn't check at that point.
Yeah, it's your move right here.
Oh, it's my move. Okay.
What do you think? What do you think of this position?
I feel like I have 9. He has 5 as far as points of pieces, minor pieces, and then I have one less pawn though. But it seems like this is definitely winning for me. I feel like I can easily pull this off, especially since I got the escape square. If I didn't have the escape square, I feel like he would have like 2 moves and he would get a back rank mate potentially if I wasn't being careful. Like if he distracted me enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be not careful and lose with white, but you shouldn't. You should be just winning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if h3 is like a bad move per se, but I do know that I stopped playing some of these kind of prophylactic like h3 a3 moves sort of recently, and I think sometimes they do, if you're not careful, you can kind of do what they say, seeing ghosts a little bit, you know what I mean, where you're like responding to threats that aren't there quite yet. And sometimes, if you're not careful, like I don't know if I have an opinion about this instance in particular, right? But sometimes, if you're not careful, you can sometimes run into trouble where you're losing time playing those moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you could play them later, but not always. You know what I mean? But just something to think about, though.
I think when I did this,
So-
I felt like I didn't want to lose my queen, because if he, okay, so if he, let's say I just moved like, knight to d7 or something, then he would take my queen. It's not protected by anything. I couldn't trade back, and so my
Right.
queen had to do something. I felt like, or else I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah,
And
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be losing too if that happened. So I felt like I had to move my queen. And then I also felt like
The question is really though, do you want the queen trade that he offered you or not? Because we agree you have to move your queen.
no, I don't.
But then, and why not? Can you put in words why not?
I didn't count. I didn't take in the whole position. I didn't figure out like if I'm up on pieces. I guess. Oh, and plus, Jesse said to be stingy with pieces too. as a low rated player, be super miserly with your pieces. I guess that could be a principle, but to be honest, that's not what went through my head. I was just like, the walls are closing in. They got two of their heavy hitters, and I only have one heavy hitter, and then my knight, I don't really know what I'm doing with. I feel like I can afford to lose that knight. Let's try to just figure out some type of mating tactics. Abandon the knight. We've got our escape square with our king. And it's who mates first, I guess, is what I was thinking. I felt like I could probably mate first, and I ended up being right.
Interesting.
But I didn't see it, but I have a 2-move mate right now if he doesn't react in time. Because as soon as another thing I saw that he removed his back rank defender when he brought his rook down. I thought that was a bit of a mistake when my queen's still on the board, especially with no lift square for his king. So I kind of was thinking attack mode right now, and so since I had my escape square for the king and I'm in attack mode since he's got nothing on the back rank to protect, I was like, I'm gonna go for it. But I didn't actually see the mate until right away. I think as I was moving my queen, once I let go, I was like, ooh, the next move's mate if he doesn't like give himself a lift square right now.
So if I can codify what you just said into a principle that you should remember, the principle is usually if their king is more vulnerable, you keep queens on the board. If your king is more vulnerable, you trade queens because you don't want to get mated or you want to mate your opponent.
That's a good principle.
So you were saying with all that you thought you've played h3, your king is going to be safe, so you were trying to avoid trading queens. Now I will kind of disagree in saying that your king is, safer or less safe or more safe. I think both kings are about equally safe, but this is the principle that you were trying to use, and I think that makes sense at least.
Well, my left square makes my king safer than his, that's for sure.
Right, but if you play queen f5, for instance, he can get a flight square with h6 as well.
True. That would have been scary. I don't know what. Oh, I have a check. I could go.
Yes.
Queen takes f7 check, and then it seems like he would go. He would have one move. He would have to go either to the flight square or to h8. If he goes h8, I'd check again. I could also check with my knight at that point too, though. Although I don't know if that's good. I would have to be thinking a lot about this.
Yeah, I mean this is all working for the record, and you're completely correct. But then you need to, when you play queen f5, the reasoning is I thought that his king would be less safe, so I want to keep the queens on the board so I can checkmate. That's the actual reasoning.
For the record, I want this attack mode. I don't know what this is. I would trade queens so fast on a2, and then think.
Right, and it's different ways to approach the situation because you're winning.
I queen a2, knight c6, and then think.
I think at low ratings, if your queen is in trouble, you want to protect your queen. You don't consider trading queens that easily because it's like, no, I don't want to lose my queen. Like, that's my best piece.
You're trading queens. You're not losing it. You're trading. You're taking his queen.
I'm not as worried about his queen as I'm worried about not having mine, I guess. Even though that doesn't matter if, like, we've got them way outnumbered, but I just, like, hate the idea of losing my queen.
Okay, well, as long as you say trading the queen, then I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm curious about
Like, if I trade queens, I feel sad.
Why?
Because
If
even
you
though he
trade-
lost his, I lost mine, so we both lose. We're both sad.
Okay, well, put it on the board really quickly. So queen takes queen, and he takes back. And then here, knight takes c6 is what Being Bad at Chess was recommending the other night.
Yeah,
I saw that.
C6.
That would definitely
Okay. Do you agree that the plan of d5, d6, d7, d8 equals queen is a pretty good plan?
Oh, yeah. Very good.
That looks terrifying.
And tell me,
Like
how do you
a
stop it?
but he plays A5, but I don't think I care very much. I still do this.
It's a pretty good plan, right?
Oh yeah.
So
very
you're
good.
saying like, oh, I'm sad because I'm losing my queen, but I'm like, well, here you're about to get a new queen. So
Well, I don't think that far. Or maybe I would maybe start to be able to see that far ahead, but I'm not thinking more than like 1 or 2 move combos. I'm not.
yeah.
Obviously, I should be able to see that far ahead.
No. I mean, to me, this is a 2-move combo. If we back up, it's queen takes queen, he takes back, and then I take the pawn.
Yeah, that never occurred to me because again, I was playing pretty fast, and so I did. Like, my main concern was somehow that white knight. I felt like queen was babysitting that knight, and that I wasn't going to be able to successfully save it. That's kind of how I felt. I never even considered trading queens. I just knew that my queen is threatened and my knight's threatened, and he's got his 2 heavy hitters here, and he might do something weird. I'm getting out of here. My queen doesn't even need to be involved in this, and I might have glanced up at his king and been like he's down here playing games trying to get that knight of mine. I could just abandon that knight and go after his king. That's kind of how I was thinking. So I thought his next move will be like queen takes b3, and I was like, I don't care. I'm ahead on material. I can afford to lose it, and I'm going for like an attack on their king.
The irony here is that what you played is significantly more complicated than if you had traded queens and taken it on c6. Like all these things that you're saying actually require now calculation. Like you have to be sure that you're checkmating him because you're losing a knight. You're completely losing a knight for free, but you have a checkmate. So you have to actually see clearly after a few moves all of the threats.
I was just confident that my knight, dark scored bishop, and queen could pull it off with him having no rook back there, no nothing. I thought these 3 pieces versus king with just a few pawns, he's just not going to be able to handle it, and his rook cannot get back to help out at all because my e5 knight is protected. So he's really blocked out from going back in defensive mode. His only hope is to checkmate my king, and he can't do it, and I'm not worried about the b3 knight at all because we're up on material. So that's what I was thinking.
All right. Okay. So then there you go. So you thought his king was more vulnerable, and so you went for the attack, and that's a totally fine reason to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did he play in the game? He played here queen b1. Oh, and I got mated. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good game, man. You know, and you saw a lot of tactics too. Maybe not right away, but you definitely saw it. Like I think the kind of 2 moments that stood out to me where we found tactics, you kind of found variations on them after a few moves too. You know, but you still do have. I mean, you both have so much time on the clock.
Yeah.
By the end here, you know, like. You could have been playing a 20-minute game, you know, and you still almost have time.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that you can really slow down and think and take your time on classic time controls. I didn't really know that for some reason. I thought you can do that if he slows down, I can slow down, but if he goes fast, I have to go fast with him. I felt like there was some type of mutual agreement unspoken that has to occur, but then it's like, why are we queuing up for hour games if we're wanting a 20-minute game?
I think at probably your level, definitely my level, you know, a lot of games still end in the middle game. You know, like a lot of my games are still 20 moves, 30 moves. And so, you know, I very often, I mean, I don't know if I'm not passing judgment whether this is good or bad, but just, I guess it's not uncommon for me to end with much less time than my opponent has on their clock. Like I'll end, you know, if I play an hour game, like 60 minutes, you know, I'll have like 20 minutes left on my clock on move 30 and they have like 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's happened to me though.
Yeah, and I just chalk that up to they didn't think enough and that's why I won, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's their loss. You're taking advantage of your time resource better than they are. That's how I see it now. It's a resource that you're taking advantage of, and they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool. Do you have another game by
Yeah,
any
I could
chance?
show our next one. Yeah. Let's see. So I would go
Yeah, I wouldn't mind running through
um,
another one.
okay.
Actually, this is what I do when I annotate my games. At the end, I try to think of at least one, but sometimes more takeaways from a game that I'm going to try to incorporate. You know what I mean? In the future. So I wonder what the broad takeaways would be from this game, do you think, for you?
Um, hmm. Well, I mean, definitely this 3 game series I played with this guy, I still have the takeaways of just slowing down, taking my time more. But as far as that
Okay.
game specifically, oh man.
I mean, sometimes it might just be take more time, for sure. I always try to find at least.
There was a couple good things. One was like if there's a if there's an exchange,
Uh,
like calculate points. So like it's okay to lose a rook for like 2 of their minor pieces because I'm up 1 point on that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I had a kind of a rule of thumb like don't lose your rook, like never lose your rook.
No, that's not a rule. Never lose your king is the rule.
True.
Yeah.
And then
So-
don't
so it's
kind of
like this-
kind of I had another rule like don't lose your queen, never lose your queen. Don't offer to trade queens ever. And so trading queens would have
Oh,
been
wait.
like very viable in this game, but
Yeah.
and simpler too. Someone mentioned it could be a little simpler. So maybe that's good to at least consider it before like doing what I did, which was kind of abandoning a knight. Because like if I didn't have as many pieces on the board and they were up even more pawns, I probably would have done the same thing, and that would have been then bad possibly. So it turned out I had a passed pawn, and there was a good plan with no queens on the board. But like, what if there, or I don't know. I'm getting myself confused, but I think it was the opposite of what I just said. But just at least considering that is good, and I didn't consider
Like
it at
considering.
all. Like not being emotional, not being emotionally involved with my queen, being willing to trade queens. Like I feel like that was an emotional decision. Like I like queens, and that's an emotional feeling. I like my queen, and I don't want them to get my queen. That's not logical. That's just emotional. And so I'm trying to root out each emotional decision I make. There's a lot of emotional decisions I make, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean it's somewhat emotional. I know when I was like first decided, like actually contemplating trading queens, there's also the fact that when you're like starting out that the queen is just such a powerful piece that like sometimes it's like, oh, I don't even know how to checkmate if I don't have a queen on the board, or like I don't know, you know what I mean? And so but sometimes it feels like the attachment to the queen too is just because you sometimes you feel like you rely on the queen, I think, because it's such a powerful piece. But I also think that a lot of players this rating probably feel the same way you do about their queen. And I mean,
yeah.
your opponent in this game, he was probably trying to trade it, which another school of thought, which is a little bit oversimplistic, but is also another consideration, is if you're up material, sometimes trading can be advantageous. But in this, but sometimes though, if you take your opponent's queen at this rating, they might feel the same way you do. So if you get comfortable with queens off the board, like that can give you an edge too, potentially, maybe. You know what I mean? And then you kind of get used to like checkmating with other pieces and like learning other pieces too,
That's
I
a good
guess.
point,
So,
yeah. Also, what you mentioned about if you're up on material, trading is, I think as a rule, almost always very good. So I didn't have that principle in mind. I should have been more looking for trades, I think.
I do think like I'm sorry, I don't have disc. I'm looking at the board, so I can't see your names. But one of the other gentlemen with us though has a good point though too, which is about king safety factoring in to your trades, whether you do a queen trade. And then also when you get also at a certain point, you realize too that sometimes trading in such a way, like there's pieces have relative values too. You know what I mean? So like depending on where your piece is, the position and everything, sometimes trading equal material could actually be worse because sometimes it's not always equal. It's like relative. But maybe that's getting ahead of ourselves though. But anyways, yeah, there's no like hard and fast rules. There's definitely like a lot of considerations. You want to take it all into consideration, but for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't doing enough considering anything because you saw like we only used 15 minutes on the clock, but I'm loving slowing it down now a lot more. I've done that the past couple games after I got my first advice session. And my first analysis with other players that are higher rated than me was so helpful that I like totally changed a lot of stuff about how I think about chess. And so I'm loving that.
I got one more addendum to your rules that you got that you're learning.
Okay.
When you're ahead material, you're saying trade pieces because then you'll have more stuff in them, right? And it's easier.
Or no, they said that if you're ahead on material and you trade down, the material advantage you have is more magnified because it's felt more in the presence on the board somehow.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Here,
exactly.
here.
Okay, but there's actually a small asterisk there, but a very important one. When you're saying trade down, it means trade pieces, not pawns. So usually you want to keep as many pawns on the board as possible. Because
Okay.
then, at the end of it, let's say you have 8 pawns and they have 8 pawns, but you're up a bishop. Okay, easy win. Easiest win of your life. However, if you have 1 pawn and they have 1 pawn and you're up a bishop, then maybe that pawn can queen, or maybe you'll have to sacrifice, or maybe they can blockade your 1 pawn and then you just can't do anything. So there's
Okay.
issues.
Yeah, it
So
gives
you
you more
want-
options, more threats.
Yeah.
And the
so in
end game,
general,
end game.
if you're trying to win the game and you're up material, you want to trade pieces. You don't want to trade pawns.
Got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want
That's
to
great
load
advice,
in?
actually. Yeah, I just loaded.
You wanna load in?
This is a separate game I loaded in just now.
Hold on. Let me make sure it's. This looks like the same game to me though. So
I don't think
know.
it is. Just go a little further to make sure. I'm not sure. We might have had the same opening.
No, go to games on the right there, that tab, and then click 2.
There we go.
Oh,
Oh wait,
Or-
it's.
Wait. Oh, no, you don't
Oh,
want
there
Wait, what?
we go. There's just a little lag.
Okay, there you go. That's not how it should work. So he's black. You want to switch the board up.
oh yeah.
that's right.
Swap board around.
Okay, so you're doing like a.
Wait, how do you flip
in
board?
kind?
Can you flip board?
Oh, I just. Oh
Okay.
wait, aren't you? Oh, you mean the players? So you're.
Rotating the board of 180 degrees because I was playing black, so black should be on the bottom of our screen.
It
Yeah,
is
but for some reason,
tricky.
only the people, not the players, are. That's strange. Because I'm rotating the board, but the player name isn't rotating with it.
Yeah, that's
You know
because chess.com is not well made. Don't worry about it.
Also, we
Okay.
have to review it with my player on the top.
No, it's okay. You just click. I think type in K. If you're clicked anywhere on the board and you type in K, I think it flips the board.
Okay. It's not flipping.
No, try X maybe. I might have it backwards.
Is it not appearing flipped right now? Because I already.
it
there we
worked.
go.
I typed X on my end.
Okay, X also does the same thing as clicking that button. I think you can have it flipped international, and I think he can have it flipped, and you have different. Like it's not synced.
Oh man, this game is kind of
Okay.
embarrassing. I can't wait to go through my opening. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It
Oh,
was
boy,
like
the
it
embarrassing
was like
games.
the sample video Jesse gave, where the guy's comment was like, "I wanted to try that Bishop Fianchetto thing," and I think I literally did the same thing, and that was pretty much what I had in my mind as well. And that's
Two-thirds, man. Yeah,
Right.
you're just getting blown off the board. He plays E5. Where's your knight going? Oh no.
Oh yeah.
and he capitalized
So-
on it. He punished me right away. He like knew what to do.
Yeah. What could you do to prevent this? In retrospect, do you think? Like
I
here,
think
if you-
I wasn't supposed to worry about the bishop like right away. I think okay, let's see. I think I could have gone d6 to prevent the e5 push because then I can just take, and then he would take though. I
But
think
you
I
have
would.
an important move.
I think I would still have to run away with my knight, maybe.
Before running away, though, you have something really, really good that you can do.
Okay.
And
let
this
me
is a
see.
common motif.
Um,
This is a common motif in this too. So
oh! I could take his queen.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's not good because you're trading queens, but it is good because what is he going to take back with?
His king. Oh, if he takes back
Let's
with the
say-
king, he
let's
loses
say-
castle. If he takes back with the knight,
No, whoa, 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 no. We already said that's not important if the queens are traded. Remember.
oh,
Right. So him
okay,
taking
yeah.
with the king, you need to look further. So what happens if he takes with the king?
If he takes with the king, oh, do
You
I have like a
one-
check?
You have one very, very important move here. That's just
Bishop to g4 check.
he blocks that with the pawn, and then both your knight and bishop are hanging. So that's no good.
Um.
show that real quick. That's no good.
Yeah, that's really bad. Let's see.
Because if you don't have this move, then you're still in trouble. But with this move, you're like, oh, black's completely winning.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not well, it's got to be that bishop unless because wait. Yeah, I don't see anything with my knight. If I go knight to e4, he takes. If I go knight to d5, he takes. So it's not the knight.
What other squares can I go to?
I could what other squares could my knight go to?
Yeah, you said,
knight
you
to
said
G.
D5 and
Oh,
D4.
knight to g4. I have.
Okay. Do you see that that's hitting
There's a
the F
fork
pawn
next.
also? Right. So if he defends the F pawn, let's say he just develops and defends it, bishop e3 or knight h3, doesn't matter.
Knight
I get it, bishop.
h3.
Yeah. Okay. Then what move do you have here? Again, very important that you have this move. Your knight was hitting the F pawn, but it was also hitting something else.
It was hitting the rook. Oh no wait. Oh, I could take the e5 pawn with the knight.
Exactly. So in conclusion, you're winning a pawn.
I definitely didn't see that.
No, of course not. But this is actually really, really, really important because otherwise, this entire opening that you're doing would just be completely losing by force. So it's very important that you go back and you look at this one more time. So d6, it stops e5. That's what you said originally. And the reason it stops e5 is because if he plays e5, you take once, you trade queens, and you have knight g4.
Hold on, I'll run through it all over again here.
So here, d6. You should have played one move earlier, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so if they play e5, then you take once, they take back, you trade queens. If they take with the king, which is kind of the normal move, then you have knight g4, and you're hitting two different pawns, and they can't
Wow.
defend.
So that's
Because if
pretty
they play
good.
f4, you still win. You play knight f.
So did we just
check.
discover like a good opening, or
So this is called the Peart's defense as black. And
well, this is a real book opening? What?
Yeah, this is they can't play e5. Basically, they can't play e5 this early.
Well, I definitely did not have anything like this in my game. I don't remember.
One other
right now.
thing, can you look at that whole line again? But now instead of taking on,
Were those first two moves? Oh wait, those first two moves were book moves. I just missed d6. If I did d6, I'm still in book, right?
yeah, you needed to play d6 exactly.
Okay. So that's
So
where
what
I
did you
slipped.
try?
I just was too early on the dark squared bishop development. I should have been considering threats from those pawns because they're really aggressive and I got to do something.
Exactly, yeah. So now play e5 one more time, and then takes, queen takes, and now don't take with the king, take with the knight. Now do you see here that you have a normal good move that you can now play that you couldn't previously?
Well, all I'm going to see is knight to g4 now, but
Yeah, but now notice how
oh,
knight
it's
g4
taken. Well, no, it's
he can play f4, and he stopped your knight f2 stuff, and your knight's getting trapped, so it's no good. Where would you move your knight if you didn't notice that anything was happening and you just
wait, if you go f4. Oh. Yeah, that would ruin it. Wait, couldn't you have done that?
No, because you had knight f2 check winning his rook on the other line. even if there's not a pawn there,
Wait,
knight takes
so-
f2.
Oh, because his king's defending.
Exactly.
Wait.
Exactly.
Well, he has a defender in general, but if he took with
Wait,
the
you're
king,
saying-
he had no defender for f2.
If the
Other
king
variation.
in the king takes variation, and you play knight g4, he
F2 is
can't.
open.
Yeah,
Ish.
go back to the king takes variation one more time. Sorry. Takes, king takes. Yeah. Knight g4. Notice how f4 doesn't solve his problem.
So 4.
Defends both pawns. f4 does defend both pawns, but knight f2 check wins a rook, so it doesn't matter.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah, you're not playing knight f2 to win a pawn, you're playing knight f2 to win a rook.
So it is way different situations.
Yeah, so now in the knight takes variation, go back, and then queen takes, king takes, knight takes. Now, knight g4 doesn't really do anything, because
Okay.
f2 is defended, and your knight's kind of about to get trapped with h3, so instead you can play the normal move that you would normally play here if you weren't trying to win pawns.
Okay, so my normal move here. I don't have a normal move. I would have to come up with something. I don't like the idea of leaving my knight there.
Yeah, put your knight on the best square. What's the best square?
Okay, the knight's best square. I kind of like knight to d5 ish because it's centralized and I can defend it later with a pawn.
Exactly. Yeah, done. So now if you look at what happened, he put his knight back on d1 for no reason, and your knight is now just in the center. So you have a lead in development, and you're black.
Got it. Okay.
So this is just bad also for white to do. So that's, again, in conclusion, they can't play e5. When you play d6, you stop e5. But the interesting thing here is that technically you didn't stop it, but actually you did stop it because in all the variations, you're either winning a pawn, or you're getting a lead in development, or all the things that white didn't want to happen happened.
Okay. I guess
Does that make sense?
right now still I should have played slower because I'm at 30 seconds in, and I'm just like, oh, we're fan shadowing the bishop. I don't assess how dangerous e5 is for me right now.
Yeah, it's a big problem. I know some people that call this the Brooklyn defense. When you put knight f6, get kicks, and then you play knight g8. I think it's called the Brooklyn defense because only like hustlers on the street in Brooklyn are gonna ever play this way. Just trying to talk you.
Okay. So he develops tonight. Oh, and then you play it here. You play it here.
Yeah, that's good.
A little bit too late, but okay.
I was feeling really like I screwed up here, but then I think a6 was kind of a brilliant move, and I think it was even the best move. Because if he takes the knight, I can take the bishop. I think was the idea. Oh,
Like
yeah.
that.
So no, I was thinking the pawn takes the knight, and then my pawn takes the bishop. I thought I was gonna do that, but then he would just take my pawn with the knight. But then I can. I don't know.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll go back.
It seemed like it's
so
all I
you're
had.
set. Takes here. You take
I mean,
here.
we're losing a pawn. Okay, so I was like, if we're losing a pawn, we're losing a pawn, but there could be worse. I totally botched this opening, so I was fine with losing a pawn. I deserve it.
Nah, man, if you botch something, that doesn't mean you deserve to lose in chess. That just means you go even
Well, not
farther
lose the
out.
game, but just to be down a pawn if you're like so bad on your opening. To lose a pawn is expected, I would say.
See what you mean.
So really quickly, what happens if he plays bishop a4 here?
Bishop to a.
Bishop A4.
Then I get a chance to do something about my knight, or no. I think I could. Wait, could I go b5? Maybe I could go b5.
What happens if he plays knight takes b5?
I could retake with the a pawn.
Yep, he takes back.
Take again.
So he just sacrificed a piece for 2 pawns, but what's your knight doing? Where's your knight going, buddy?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm really losing here, I think.
Yeah, you're completely lost here. Rip.
No way to really defend that. You're gonna lose your rook most likely too.
Well, the
Big
best
play.
move is probably bishop d7,
Yeah.
but then he takes with the pawn, not with the bishop, and then now you have to move your bishop again. So now you're just down 2 pawns, and you have to move a bunch. And it's
Down 2 pawns, I can definitely come back from that in my rating level. That's not that bad.
right. It's not like completely lost, but it's accurate. So that's why your knight c6 move probably wasn't so good.
Speaking of coming back, I was down like 3 pieces and I won a game today.
Can I assume it was a back rank checkmate?
Yeah.
There you go. Never resign until they make
But it-
that play.
I think it might have been a back rank checkmate with a pawn promotion actually. It was pretty crazy.
I'm kind of curious though, like what if and to some of the other people in the chat too, like what about this? Is this bad for white here?
That might have happened in the game. I'm not sure.
This is what happened in the game.
Oh, it is what happened. Okay.
Yeah, but
Right.
here we only won 1 pawn, and then the other one we won 2 pawns and had tempo, so
Yeah.
slightly better. But this looks good. Yeah, I mean I'm kind of happy about this as white.
Yeah, White's winning.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, White's going to be winning no matter what, I guess, because he was aggressive with his pawns. I think he played this well on the opening after I didn't go d6 when I was supposed to. After that, it was like I was just like just screwed.
I think I would have played this as white probably. I probably would have missed the other line.
Yeah, the other line is something that you see a lot in the Botvinnik variation of the Semi-Slav. If you want to.
Oh, my favorite.
I know, right?
Okay. So you pin his knight to the queen. It looks like.
Yeah, I think I was just like thinking, just develop now. I felt like the damage was done. He got his pawn. I can retake if he takes with his e pawn. I can retake. So I was thinking like
Oh, so
I'll
I
probably
don't know what he
retake.
plays here. Like, so you mean like this, and then you were thinking he was gonna retake like this?
No. Go back. What I was referring to is if he goes ex d6, I can go ex d6 with my. Wait, how do you write that? Wait, e7 x d6 was how you notate that, I guess.
No, you would say e takes d6, but most
Oh,
people
yeah.
would say
E take.
e takes, and then you stop because there's really only one thing to take with the e-pawn.
Yeah, ex d6 would be the notation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brain fart. So yeah, that's what I would do. So because I had that, I wasn't worried about any further moves with pawns. I kind of just wanted to focus on development at this point.
Okay.
I didn't see that coming either.
Huh. I don't think I did either.
That kind of made me feel a little bit. I felt a little bit claustrophobic at this point. I was like, man, these pawns are so much in my face this game. I felt kind of like I could gasping for air.
But then you took it.
Yeah. What do we?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
lucky. I saw that. I was like, ooh, okay, some revenge. And then actually, I won back my deficit of a pawn there, so I was pretty happy with that. Although I didn't think about any knight threats he might have.
I also wondered. Well, you're probably gonna castling kingside down the line. So maybe you probably wouldn't want to take with f7, but I know that sometimes this is just something I learned recently or have been incorporating, but sometimes doubling your pawns in the center is not really that bad. Like sometimes it can be kind of good, actually.
Yeah.
But maybe here you wouldn't want to.
No,
I don't know. I mean, you could still.
I really don't
still
like.
have-
I really don't like moving the king's protection pawns because when he castles,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. Maybe some people do, but I was like, if I don't have to double pawns, because they said double pawns is worth like half a point per pawn right there, and then also I'm losing king safety there. And why? It's not like I'm really beholden to that g4 position for my bishop. Why not just like re-centralize all the pieces are well connected and go from there? So I thought bringing the bishop back is a way better way to take.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what the computer says, or maybe not. But I don't know. I don't know. I think I may consider doubling pawns here, and then when I castle, I have like an open F file for my rook. But I don't know. That could also be losing too down the line. I don't know. Oh, we just brought up the evaluation here. Let's see. Okay.
Try it with the pawn and see if it changes the valuation.
Evaluation's still settling here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh,
Oh, it's worse. It was 1.2 if I took with the bishop, so that was a better move by 0.4. Half a pawn better move. Which makes sense, because I
Yeah.
said it's doubled pawns are half a pawn.
yeah.
That's
Wait,
somebody told me
so,
that recently.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Where did it settle here?
It was a 1.2.
So this is.
It's one.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it was 1.2, but
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I would have. I don't know in a game. I guess my only point though is this situation's kind of different. But I guess my only point is that it's not always a bad idea to take with the pawn and double pawn in the center. I guess you know what I mean.
yeah.
Okay. Take with the bishop.
Wow, the valuation
Okay.
bar just flew up. Oh, I know
Yeah.
why. I know why. I think I find it too. Bishop, dark square bishop gets the knight. It's hanging.
Okay.
I was so happy I saw that. Oh, I might not have seen it. Actually, I don't think I see it that move. I think I played the next move. I didn't see it right away. Neither did he. Obviously.
Okay, so he plays this. What do we think his idea is with this move? Do we think he has an idea behind this?
I think he's planning to move it again for maybe b5, and then I'll probably take. Oh, and then he'll retake with the knight, and he'll be up. No, he'll have traded pawns, but advanced his knight, and he'll have opened a file. Maybe he wants to go rook to b1 next or something.
Well, he also opens a file for you too, right?
True.
You know, kind of
Yeah.
a file. So I don't know. I don't know what he was about that, but
Oh, my evaluation bar went down, so that was a bad move for me. Oh, I know why it was a bad move. Because they saw that I missed bishop takes c3, and they were mad at me because I missed it. But fortunately, I do say it like the next game.
okay. So he does push the. So that was his idea.
So I
You take
still
back.
didn't see it.
Yeah. Maybe we should turn the eval bar off though, because that's kind of misleading at this
Okay.
level, to be honest. I mean, I don't even look at
Okay.
the eval bar.
That's fine.
But okay. But so you choose to take there. There you
Yep.
go. You found it here.
Finally found it. I think I found it because I was kind of running out of, like, there wasn't anything good with any of my pieces. So I was starting to look at everything finally. Like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
getting the knight and the rook was crazy. I think how did that happen? Oh, because it was a fork. It was a fork with check. So that was like an insanely fortunate series of events to get 2 pieces like that. Man, that was like very, very awesome for me.
Yeah, I think moving his B2 pawn was a huge mistake here for that reason. And then if
Yeah.
your rook was still on, you have an open file here now too. You
Yeah.
know, so big mistake for him. But
Wait, I don't even know why I moved my rook to b8 there. When did I do that? Could you go back a couple? Okay,
yeah,
so
of course.
oh, I think I was thinking like if he goes to b5, I'll take, and then his knight takes. I have to have something that gets the last take. I need the last life. So I wanted to like double, like, yeah, I
Thinking
wanted.
like this, you know,
Then my
here's the take.
yeah, so I was gonna take, and then his knight was gonna take, and then my rook was gonna take his knight. Was my thought.
Yeah, so you're preventing his knight from moving there. You take here, you find the fork, take it. Okay. So you're attacking his.
This
C
was
pawn.
bad.
That's-
This was really bad. I didn't see his queen is eyeing my rook on h8. I did not see it, and so
Yeah.
that was a huge blunder. But he didn't see it either.
He doesn't find it. Yeah.
It's like a
Oh,
long that's a
okay.
long distance away, and I think at this point,
It's the entire board.
yeah, that's and it's going through, weaving through all this stuff. It's not easy to see that, to be honest. He would have to really like look deeply. Like, could I do something here?
Yeah.
Oh, and he actually found a. Well, it looks like a fork, but everything's protected though.
Wait, what's the fork that you were talking about that he finds?
His knight hits my b5 pawn and my f5 bishop, but because both are all like because I have a pretty solid position, everything is protected, nothing's hanging. It didn't actually benefit him that much, but it's still. I think he's always looking for forks, and so I think he still likes it. Cause like, let's say I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna develop my bishop to the open file, and I forget the bishop. I'm not my bishop. I'm gonna develop my rook to a8 to hit the open file, and I forget its job is to babysit the b5 pawn. Then he would be able to take a free pawn. So from that perspective, his d4 move with his knight is pretty good because now I can't remember or like if I went pawn to g5, he would nab my bishop. So he's threatening 2 pieces or attacking 2 pieces, and I have to remember that and not remove my own defender by accident. And so that's kind of good for him to put a lot of threats on the board that I have to remember not to like forget about.
Yeah. I don't know about the context of this moment in this game since you're up so much material right now. But if I were white and I had more material, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I think I would probably take this bishop like this. Because then because like in this kind of setup, you're definitely not castling queenside, and this totally wrecks your kingside castle structure too.
That's a good point.
You know?
That's almost worth it for that trade, unless if he's, got better ideas. But like, that's a pretty good trade in general. If you're like, my knight's worth 3 points, the bishop's worth 3 points, we'll take those off. That's even. But then I weakened his castle king safety, and so I gained something. So I'm actually, benefiting myself. I have a slightly better position now. But the bad thing is when you're down on material, you don't want trades. So that kind of evens it out. So it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know in this particular game if I would take or not. Someone else can chime in their thoughts on it. But just to illustrate the point, though, sometimes like it looks like it's an even trade because you think knights and bishops are the same value, but it's kind of not an even trade. It's like you do this and then you take here, and now, you don't always have to castle either in games, but just an way to illustrate, though, like the way that your opponent has to retake sometimes can be a big factor in your decision too to trade or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that.
If he had a little more
Castles
material,
and
that would have been a great move, though.
Yeah, yeah. So you castle. I mean, now I might take anyways, even though I'm down material, because you're committed to castling, and then
What about
know?
before white castles? What about bishop h6 to prevent black from castling?
what move? What move? What number move are you talking about?
Right here.
Here.
Go
After
for it.
knight
Right
f6.
here.
After knight f6, bishop h6. I think that
Bishop.
looks a little interesting potentially.
That prevents
Yeah.
castle.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty good move from the castle prevention perspective. I don't know if there's like some tactic. Oh, I guess I could kick him out, but then he just dropped back and then he could do it again. It could be like a draw if we kept repeating that. But I could kick him out with going g8. He could offer a draw that way.
Going like this, you mean?
Yeah, and then he could go bishop to d2, and then I could develop the knight back to f6, and then he could do the same thing. We could draw.
I think if you played knight g8 though, he would play knight takes f5.
No, because
And
then
now
I
you're
could.
rotating again from the queen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's also got. He does this now. He's opened up this long diagonal for his queen again, which is gonna be pretty crushing.
Ooh.
You know,
Yikes.
you don't see that.
That's whoa. What would I do? I would have. Wow, he would get a free bishop because I literally have to move my rook or protect my rook with f6, right? Or no? I think so. Or I could protect my rook with or knight to f6, or I could just go f6. But I cannot allow him to take my rook. So he got that bishop for free. He can now retreat or do something else, but he got a free bishop there.
Hmm.
Wow, that's crazy. He'd be really coming back at that point. So,
Instead, he castles though.
so did I screw up? Did I screw up to even like that knight move was a mistake then? Because it opened up that tactic that gives him a free bishop in the next two moves. So I shouldn't even have done that. I don't even know.
I
Well,
think you wanted to bring your knight out so that you could be able to castle.
Yeah, but we're saying that if he immediately goes bishop to h6, I can't castle, and he gets a free bishop in the next move because I can't wait. No, my knight's protecting the rook on h8. I'm fine.
I think here you just have to move your bishop and you're fine. But you can't castle.
Yeah. Well, no. Even if he take. Oh wait. Huh? Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah. So I just can't leave the bishop there, which I wouldn't see that.
Actually, no. Here, I think you could even take. You could leave the bishop there because if he takes, your rook is no longer hanging. You just need to not. You basically need to ignore the bishop on h6, but you won't be able to castle.
Okay. I don't know what we were doing before, but I guess I'm fine.
the thorn in your side, though, for sure, having it there.
Oh, I'd be in trouble if I went to g4. We were saying knight to g4. That's when I opened myself up. So as long as I stay with my knight on f6, then I'm fine from that queen threat.
Yeah, I think you just can't move your knight because if you move your knight, then you're opening up the line between the queen and the rook. So
Yep,
knight
then he gets the
d8
bishop.
has the same problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this tactic with parking the bishop on h6 would also be a lot more effective if white had more material and was already castled and had ways to bust open the center too.
Yeah.
You know, like if your opponent's not castled and you're castled, or your king's safer relative to theirs, that's a good idea. It's usually good to open up the center and then try to get an attack in. So this bishop preventing you from castling is interesting. I don't know. I don't know in this position, in this situation, because white's down so much material that they're leaving their bishop here. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad to leave it here also, but
I definitely agree with you on the material. Like, since white is down so much, I think this is still completely winning for black.
Yeah.
As far as the white's not being castled, I think white is just going to castle on his next move, and I don't see a way for black to really stop that.
yeah, that's true.
But I think
Interesting.
since black does have the extra rook, I feel like this should be still completely winning for black.
Well, that knight on d4 is actually doing more than forking the f5 bishop and the b5 pawn. It's also protecting the c6 pawn and the c2 pawn, so it's doing a lot of stuff for him. That's a very useful knight.
That's a centralized knight, right? So
That's gluing all of his stuff together. Nothing's hanging then, except the bishop.
so okay, so he castles. That's what was played in the game. You castle as well. Queen b1. I wonder what the idea behind that move was.
Definitely activates the queen to control more squares. Threatens the b5 pawn. I don't know if he's thinking of like taking with the knight, and then it's protected by the queens, and then he's like, he won't retake because then he'll lose the rook. So that's a free pawn then. So
Well,
yeah,
it's
he
black
can,
to play something here. So you're saying he takes like this?
yeah, and if I retake with my rook, I will lose the rook to their queen, and that's not worth it to me because the rook's worth more. So he gets that pawn for free essentially. Although he's pinning the horse there ish because he's pinned there though, but he did get a pawn. That's something. He could protect the horse on his next move or whatever with a pawn.
I think you have a tactic here that wins back the pawn.
Well, yeah, there might be tactics, but I'm just saying like that's probably what he was thinking though.
I don't see the tactic to win back the pawn. That's interesting. Let me think about that. I do see a move here. But before we get to that, I was wondering if, wouldn't maybe, hold on, would this just be better if that was the idea though, so that the queen's not pinned? You know what I mean? If that was the idea, like if you just play something random here, right, and then his queen's still active, maybe. Although, I don't know that I would even play that anyways, though.
Well, I
because
think
it's like an awful lot to win just the pawn on e5, but like a lot of your pieces are tied down.
Well, I've got nothing hanging, and he doesn't really have any play. He's just trying to come up with something where he can try to get a pawn, at least do something productive. He's so limited on options since my position's it's just a really solid structure. And I'm like a fortress, and he's got no other play, I don't think.
Well, this pawn's hanging though here, I think. Can you see my mouse, by the way, when I share screen?
No. Or I
can see
Oh.
that. Yeah.
Worrying about that. What does that do?
That's
Yeah,
a
so
threat.
maybe that's why he moved the queen. Maybe that's why he moved the queen. Okay, anyways, I'm going off on my own tangent.
Yeah, the queen's better then, because of that. The queen is better then.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I would play this move because I don't know that I want to pin a knight to my queen, and then if my queen moves, I lose the knight as well.
Well, you can unpin it just
maybe
by
he-
going like c4. It's unpinned then.
Yeah, like
Yeah, or
maybe
or
he doesn't.
A4. Yeah, then he's unpinned, and he got a pawn. It's great play. It's like he had no other real options, and he found something good. I think.
Well,
So
if
the-
you play c4, you win his queen. So he'd probably have to play.
Oh yeah, a4. You're right. I didn't see that. I would have played c4
Yeah, okay.
in the game. I would have hung my queen.
Yeah.
Unless if
Huh.
if I was rushing.
Immediately
Alright.
after knight takes b5, I think black has bishop takes c2.
So he still has c2 because if you recapture, then you win the knight.
Hold on 1 second. I have
So
to
he still has c2. Oh, okay.
text my wife back. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, so he was saying you still have c2 anyways, even if he uses the queen instead of the rook, because you capture here, and then if you retake, it's deflection on the queen. You can take the knight.
Oh, interesting.
This is a pretty damn good point.
So it was like it was a trade. We're trading down even material, but that's benefiting me because I'm up on material.
Well, if he, hold on.
W loop suggested bishop e4, which also looks very nice.
Bishop e4 here, like this.
Yeah, so the point is that you're attacking the c6 pawn, and after you take that, the knight is still pinned and is probably going to be lost. Well, I guess he could play like a4 to protect it.
Yeah, that's what
You're still going to get rid of that
C.
c6 pawn, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, I really like this though. You can
I
still
like that
take.
too because it encourages white to trade down, and since you're up so much, trading is good.
Well, you also yeah, exactly. You win the pawn back too here. So and get your rook in the game.
Very simple tactics.
Okay, so you play e5, which is actually a common break, I think, right? In like King's Indian kind of peered setups and stuff.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
was,
I'm just getting it.
I think so.
But usually there's pawns there though. So
Yeah, you can't really call it a break if you're not hitting a pawn. But okay, yeah.
yeah. Usually there's pawns there, but this is a common move in these setups though. Earlier in the game when there's like pawns there to break open the center, but. Okay, and then he plays. Okay, so he takes the pawn. Okay, all right, and then we talked about this. So, okay, what was the idea behind?
Oh, I actually
knight
I love this move because I saw the outposts on f4, and so actually when I was reviewing this game, I was like, wait, why did I do that? That's stupid. Knight on the rim is dim. But then I was like, oh, I was rerouting to come to knight to f4, which is a great outpost, centralized and protected. And it turns out I end up going knight to e2 even and throw a check in. So it was like pretty cool how it turned out. But
So really quickly though, if you're going to f4, you should go through the more central route.
oh really?
Just in case you have more options, so you don't have to go to f4. So knight d5 does the same thing,
Knight to
but also I
d5.
have a lot more options if I'm not going to f4.
Interesting. That's great advice. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Huh. I guess I didn't think it mattered because I'm like, I'm not doing anything this move. But you're saying you never know. It might like come in handy even though you're just 2 moves away. They might do something where you like your knight more centralized.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like for instance, if they play g3, well now I can't play knight f4, but now who cares? My knight's super good in the center, so I'll just do anything else.
Oh. Yeah, that would ruin my knight to f4 if I were on h5 right now. And then I'd be like, have to go back. I'd have to reroute.
But you don't even have to move because your knight's just right where it is.
True. Even though it's
Yeah,
not
the other-
defended, though, it's hanging.
That's true. Okay, so improve your queens and your rooks and stuff, and then you
Yeah.
can deal with your knight last.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
Oh, I think on that move he's planning to go to a7 just to attack my rook and unpin his queen, I think. Or no, unpin his b5 knight because it's kind of pinned to there right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of smart,
Hmm.
I guess.
Okay.
It's productive. It's something.
Yeah. Okay, so you hop in there. He does play this. Oh, okay, you give him a check there too.
Oh, you just missed a winning move. No.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Remember how we said the knight was pinned?
Yeah.
If
Oh,
only attack a pinned piece.
oh, I could go knight to c3 to
Yeah.
attack the queen, and then
And
if
if the
she
piece goes anywhere,
moves, I get the knight. Wow. I thought I might have a mate net because I was thinking like, my bishop to e4 is gonna let my king swing in, and I didn't really see, like, I thought, like, man, this might be a mate net. I was completely tunnel vision at this point. I wasn't even thinking about capturing material anymore. But it turned out
That's true.
not to
You
be
don't-
a
you don't
mate
need-
net.
You don't need material. I agree. You are already up a lot of material, so all trades are good.
Yeah, I liked developing my
Trades.
queen because getting these pieces kind of out of the queen's way, I wanted to bring her to king side, and so I liked that everybody's clearing out and the queen could come in, their king's on the run. I liked this series or the sequence, but it ended up not being mate. But I ended up winning pretty soon. But I like checks. I like multiple checks especially, and I think the king he figures out some way to kind of shut this down, but.
Doesn't this check? Yeah, doesn't this still win the knight because of bishop takes c6?
Well, now you can defend it with a pawn. Or
Oh, yeah,
knight
true.
c3 hit both the queen and the knight. Yeah. Wow, bishop a7, forcing you to make the move you were going to make anyway. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it.
Wow, and you just win it outright here. Okay. Okay, so you're just trading down here.
Yeah, I thought it's perfectly fine to trade down at this point. We're so ahead on material. And actually, this move, I love this queen move because it traps his bishop. He pretty much has to he has to take my knight, and then I can retake. And now it's 3v1 as far as like pieces go, like besides pawns. And my next, well, if he retook with the queen, that pawn that's now hanging, I can then with check take on a2 and recapture. Like I'm back. You know, he got a pawn, I got a pawn, and from there, that's as far as I saw it, and I was like, this is awesome. And then I'm gonna come out with my rook next. So I think he saw this stuff and he was like, yikes. And so he got mad. He rage quit, and he had still like 40 minutes left on his clock, and I had to sit there for 40 minutes, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I sat there smiling the whole time.
I will say that in general, this is still a challenge to win because he has a queen. If you could get rid of the queens earlier, then you're not going to deal with perpetual check. But you can't walk your king up into the endgame yet because he's just going to have way too many checks. And as long as he keeps his queen on the board, it's still kind of annoying. Obviously, you're completely winning. I completely agree with that, but just kind of annoying.
Yeah, it would have been instructional to play it out for me, and have to work for it. But I wouldn't want to be in his position here. It would be like very demoralizing. I feel like to go through this. But yeah, I feel like I would want to resign. But I've been so tempted to resign in multiple games, and I didn't. And actually, the last game I played, I wanted to resign and I didn't, and I ended up winning with the most incredible swindle ever.
Yeah, I mean, people have different opinions on this, but I mean, I still like I still don't resign if I'm down a piece, even at my rating.
I think I had
because
like a queen.
pieces, you know.
Yeah, I think I had a queen, and they had a queen, a bishop, a knight, and a rook, and I had just a queen, and I won.
If you have just a
Doesn't
queen,
matter what this is.
What?
yeah, you can always try to find perpetual. If you have a queen left.
Yeah. I mean, look at this
Not
game. You have a queen, bishop, and rook, and he has a queen. That's pretty similar, right?
I won with checkmate though. It was the luckiest thing ever.
Yeah, I already told Art the other day, but my criteria for resigning is like I wouldn't resign unless I am 100% confident I could beat myself or an engine if I was the other side in like a bullet game. Like it's very clear. I know how to win. There's nothing to do, and it's like no issue whatsoever. But if like the engine could put up resistance, I'm not quitting. No way.
I would have resigned according to that criteria in my last game, and I still won. Like it was a miracle.
Because you had a queen. You had a queen. So how do you pre-move in a bullet game if the guy's got a queen? You can
Oh,
throw all these random
I've never
checks and
pre-moved and I've never played bullets, so I guess I don't really understand then. I don't know anything about that stuff.
yeah.
Well, good games.
Queens are good.
What?
Yeah, good games. I said queens are good.
Oh, thank you. We could look at that last
Well,
game I was just talking about next, if you want. If you want to do one more.
Yeah, okay, I could. I'm up for one more.
Okay.
Do you have one recently, Funkmaster?
Oh, interesting. I went through a game with my coach this morning. I don't know. Maybe I could find an interesting one. I don't know. I don't have one from this past week that hasn't already been analyzed, though.
Okay, but I mean, that's 1 week. What about a few weeks?
Okay, if we want to dig in the archive, you mean?
I mean, to me, a few
Well,
weeks is basically zero amount of time, but how long have you been playing chess?
Oh, I've been playing chess since I was young, but I returned like about 3 months ago now, like 2.5 months or something.
Okay. So a few weeks is like night and day, is what you're saying?
yeah, kinda.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, if it's not relevant, then obviously you don't have to show anything, but I feel like you could probably find one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind showing one at all. Art by Robot, are you down? Are you down for that?
Yeah, whatever's up. It's up to you guys. I'm flexible.
Can I drop my game?
I do want you guys to see the
Classroom?
swindle though. Even if we just go straight to the end of the game, just so you can see it, because it's hilarious.
Yeah, why don't you drop it in?
It was like the most insane thing. Okay, let's see. I go to add game.
Master, I think the button is on the far right there. Under games at the bottom and on far right. Yeah, far right. That one, I think, on the far right.
Oh, okay, so I could add my own game.
Yeah, so you can do that all right.
Okay, this is it. We could jump straight to the end, or we could go through it. It's up to you guys. It's a 36 move game.
Or just drop it in and we'll go through, and if anything stands out to us, we can stop.
Okay. You have to rejoin the classroom. Do you have the link still?
Wait, you can't just drop it in?
I did, but you left the classroom. It says not joined yet.
Oh. Huh. It's on my side. It looks like I'm still in it, though. That's weird.
Yeah, it looks like he's still in it from the stream. Are you sure you added it to the right study? Maybe you added it to a different one.
I'm on chess.com/classroom/lovely cobbler.
Yeah, that's where he is too. What the heck?
And it shows on my screen not joined yet to him. Could you drop and rejoin? Would that help?
Yeah, just maybe refresh the page or something. I don't know.
Yep, you're back in.
Okay, that was weird.
Okay.
Okay, I could flip the board again. I press X. Okay, we're good.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I played so bad. I had 6 blunders this game. I don't even know how I played bad. I was taking my time and everything, but I just... It was... I don't know what happened. I haven't even analyzed it yet.
Wow, this is like completely symmetrical.
The 4-knight Spanish.
Is that what this is? I don't play E4, so I
Oh,
have no idea.
I remember this game a little bit more now. I calculated a super cool mate sequence that wasn't a mate sequence, and I sacrificed a piece to do it, and then I was like, oh no, and then I might have tilted after that, or they might have played really well. I'm not sure. It says 6 blunders, so I don't even know why. But
Okay.
Yeah, this would make sense if you weren't also losing the e-pawn. So I like what you're doing here, but yeah, he correctly plays, I think, everything that's correct, and then he takes your e-pawn. Yeah. So you just lost the pawn and all that, yeah. But okay, your pieces are out, so it's not the end of the world. Our pieces are developed.
I don't know. I don't even know. What did I do wrong? Where should I?
You can't play d5, unfortunately.
You can't
Like
play
you're just
D5.
asking too much of.
Oh, I should have done D6.
Yeah, I think d6 is more solid. Back up one more move.
Go back.
And then, oh.
Oops. Oh. Hold on.
So just after the castle, castle, and then play d6 instead of d5.
D6. Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's unfortunate that you can't play d5 because d5 is the move you want to get in, but you don't have a lead in development, so it's not like you're playing black and it's everything's symmetric, so there's no way that you can like fight for an advantage.
Wait, let me think for a second why that's true. Okay, so okay, I was thinking like I'm protecting that d5 square with my f6 knight and with my d8 queen. So I have 2 people protecting. He has 2 people hitting it. So we would even trade, I guess. Wait, no. Boom,
Right. No, the problem
boom,
is the e-pawn. The problem is the
boom,
e-pawn.
boom. Everything was fine up until. Okay, so the e pawn is defended by the c6 knight,
Which he can take.
but he takes the c6 knight. Oh, and he does.
Yeah, exactly what happened in the game basically shows why you
Oh my goodness. That's so basically I can't even treat the c6 knight as a defender once he's pinned or once he's attacked like this. I just have to say like he's not like I need to protect the e pawn of somebody else or something. So I should have done like okay, so
You should have played d6 instead.
or
of
I could have left the d pawn where it is and first went to e8 and then I could play d5 because he's got
Well, yes, but no, because in that position, then your knight is going to be pinned on c6 because you put a rook on e8.
Oh,
Yeah.
what if I did queen to e7 and then d5?
Yeah. So then the problem with queen e7 is now you're undefending d5.
I'm defending d5.
You're now defending the e pawn, but now you want to play d5.
my.
Yeah. Yeah, you're starting to see.
Okay, so basically, so I just thought like d5 and e5 that looked like the Scotch game opening that I played on white one time, but since I'm on black it's just different or something. I don't know. It's just a configuration of having 2 knights out and then 2 central pawns all the way forward that worked for me before, but it doesn't in this situation, I guess. Because they have the bishop out, that's why. Am I solid so far now? Was all this good so far? Besides that one mistake earlier.
I know. I'm not so much higher rated than you than to be able to see way better tactics in such a short amount of time.
I see now the c6
But-
pawn is hanging. I don't like that, but I don't really know what to. Oh wait, no, it's not. The queen's protecting it. Okay, so that's okay. So-
Yeah.
Oh, but then it stops protecting it when I jump back. So I should have gone to e7 here with the bishop, because he's taken away my queen protecting c6.
Wait, what are you saying here?
When I jump my bishop back to retreat to d6, I block the queen on f6 from protecting c6, who it was
that's
previously
true.
protecting. So I hang that. And they did they
Yeah.
find that in the game, or you just did that?
Okay, we'll see. No, they didn't. They actually
Wait,
corrected
can
the
you go-
problem.
Oh,
Kind of.
that's good. They
Oh, wait,
showed
someone-
mercy.
Can you go back to the line where they take the c6 pawn instead?
This.
Yeah, I think
Oh, I can
I
get
think you
the
have
pawn
bishop
on
takes h2.
b2. Oh, I was thinking r takes b2.
Wait, what was the other line?
I was suggesting bishop takes h2.
Bishop takes h2.
Oh, okay.
The gift, the Greek gift, right? That's what it's called.
This is not an instance of the Greek gift. I was just thinking you could win the knight back. Now your queen has vision on the knight again.
Nice.
Oh, so the point of that was even material, and they lost king safety and a pawn. So actually I'm up a pawn. Wow, that was a really good move, right? I mean, that looks really good to me.
Yeah, there might be something better than immediately taking back the knight, but I don't see it yet.
Well,
just
I mean,
taking-
unless if there's a mate in that, you could check again with the queen and start something maybe, but I don't think there's anything. Like, I don't think there's enough pieces out. They got too much protection on the diagonals in front of their king with the queen and dark squared bishop. I don't think we have enough horsepower to do any type of mate.
Yeah, I agree.
And plus, we're hanging my b8 rook if we don't deal with that c6 knight right away. Like, we would have to keep checking, or else we're in trouble.
But he corrects your double pawns for you, and
Yeah, I was kind of happy right now. I was like, nice, the pawns are corrected.
yeah, not that I don't know. Those double pawns probably aren't the end of the world, but he fixes all the problems for you.
Yeah, I liked that
Okay.
move. That was fun. I was like, nice, free pawn.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's kind of an empty threat.
Yeah, but it did force me to move away, and I don't know if that's a better... No, because that dark squared bishop is kind of on a weak position now, right? And I wasn't really a threat where I was with my rook anyways. I was probably going to drop back on my own if they didn't do that. Because I want connected rooks, and I don't really know what my rook's doing up there otherwise. It's not like it has any more pieces it can take or anything. It was just like a one and done and then a retreat. So I think they kind of wasted that move. They could have developed something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know objectively. I wouldn't have played that though personally. I just don't see the logic unless he's trying to trade dark square bishops or something. Because like, well, if he does like bishop b4, then he's like forcing the trade of dark square bishops. Maybe that opens the file for his.
Oh, you know what I was hoping for though? I was hoping they would go
Let's say you,
B1, and then I go back. If they went B1, back one more.
they went. If he went, okay.
Go back. 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 All right. if their move was b1 to kick my rook, I would have gone a2, rook to a2, and then if they go back to rook to a1, I'm gonna go ahead and take. I'm gonna rook to a or rook takes a3, and I'm defended. If they take my rook, I have my bishop to jump out and retake. That was the sequence I saw. I like that. And so I traded, but I'm up a pawn. So I was like, that's a nice exchange for me. I was expecting that, but I was not expecting that. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just drop back. But I could have got a pawn with that trick.
Well, there was a... What was I seeing before? I can't remember now. I was looking at something, but I can't remember. Okay, we'll just have to let it go.
So that was just developing the rook to the open file. And I felt like my position was super solid. I was playing really well. I felt a little more active than them because I've got my queen out on the king side. And I got both bishops. Let's not look at that yet. That was a blunder. I got both bishops active, centralized. Everything's looking good. And I have rooks on both open files. And I just felt like I played so well. Besides that, you know, that exchange at the beginning, I was down a pawn. I didn't even notice I was down a pawn. I just felt like I was playing perfect. I didn't like even catch that. And so right here, I'm feeling really, really confident, and I thought I saw the most incredible tactic. So I was gonna go, bishop takes a3, and then they were gonna retake, rook takes a3, and then I was gonna go, rook to b1 check, and then they were supposed to go. Queen to d1, I was supposed to take, and then they were going to go rook to e1, and I was supposed to take. Oh wait, even that wouldn't have worked. Man, this was so poorly thought out. I didn't see that. So there were two different ways it didn't work. Well, no, it wouldn't matter. If I would have got the queen, that would have been still worth it. Because I just got the queen and the rook for a rook. But what I didn't see was that, or the queen could have went to e1, but then I get a queen, so that's not a good move. But in any case, there is no mate threat at all, and I thought there was. I just pictured the queen coming up, and then I pictured the rook coming up, and that's checkmate. And I didn't see the dark squared bishop is protecting the e1 square, nor did I see obviously the rook could just be the first to jump up. So I feel like that was a valuable lesson. I've done so many back rank mate puzzles, and they don't throw any tricks like that. It always works. If you get something on the back rank, if the back rank's empty and you can get a rook up there, you win. And you don't even think about it in Puzzle Rush or anything. I was like, oh, I won. If I can get their final defender of the back rank off of there, I lured him off with a sacrifice. I tricked him. If he does it, I win. I did not calculate further, like deeper, besides just picturing, oh, all these little clowns trying to get in the way, they're going to all get taken out. I didn't picture, like, that there is more to it than that. Because in these puzzles, there's never more to it than that. You always win. You always get the checkmate, and it takes 2 seconds, and you don't think. So it's almost like the puzzles were bad training for me, actually. It gave me pattern recognition that Epic failed me, and it caused me not to even think and just assume I won if I can get the back rank established how I did. And so I'm like, I blame it on these puzzles. I blame it on chess.com's puzzles. It's not my fault.
Yeah, but once you blunder this enough times, like there was a time where I blundered a smothered mate, where I like, I'd probably have to set it up to show what I did wrong, but it was an embarrassing. I just lost my queen. I basically just hung my queen thinking that I was going to get a smothered mate that I didn't have. And I thought I was a genius. But once you do that once or twice, you know, then you know to like check it again. So you just have to fuck it up a few times, and then you'll never do it again.
Yeah. I still think my tactic was genius if like the dark squared bishop wasn't there, and if the piece on D2 was a rook. then I was like a genius.
Yeah. Right. Here.
Okay, that move. At this point, I felt lost. So I was just trying anything. Like I really felt lost because look, I'm down to like 4 pieces and they have 5, and I didn't see anything. I was just trying to hold it together, and it seemed like at this point everything I did they had like some kind of super frustrating threat, and they were super tactically smart. They played so well that I fell apart, and I didn't see anything good for myself. But the engine, I didn't review it or anything with the engine, but it said I had 2 missed wins. I don't even know where. I can't wait to find out. That's so insane to me. I felt like I didn't miss a thing, and I was just lost so bad after this. After that tactic, it's like I was screwed the rest of the game, and then all of a sudden, I won at the end, randomly. Completely randomly. I played terrible. Let me know if you see this missed win they're claiming. I never see it.
I don't know. I'd probably need a lot of time to try to find some of the tactics here. How long was this game? Was this an hour? Oh, this is 45 and 15?
45 plus 15, and we're down to 23 minutes and 18 minutes.
Okay, I see. Is this a player from the dojo then?
Yes,
that
it
you
is.
arranged
First time actually playing a dojo player. I arranged a dojo game off the scheduler a couple days ago, and he canceled. And then I arranged another game off the dojo, and they were a no-show. So a cancel and a no-show. So I'm like, man, dojo's kind of striking out here. But finally, somebody showed up for their game that we planned.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So they take.
Yeah, so I was trying to get some counterplay with that pawn. It's all I could really think of. And at this point, they outplayed me or whatever. It was just an even trade. And I'm like, I have no more ideas. And it was funny because it's like my turn. Or I felt like it kept being my turn to figure something out. I felt like they had so many mate threats somehow. Like, they've got this rook on f3, eyeing my pawn. So I kind of can't. I feel like I can't move my e6 bishop because it's got to protect that f7 pawn, and
It's
I
also
don't.
got a d7 square too, because he can fork your queen and.
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh yeah. I was aware of that. So I was like, this bishop's helping me a lot against that knight, and that e5 knight was a pain the whole game. I saw he had these forks all the time, and I had to keep that light squared bishop guarding that knight to take away his counterplay the whole game. I had to keep that in mind. In fact, one time I did something and he had a fork and he missed it, but that knight was always all in my grill messing with me, and I got lucky and he didn't catch anything because I kept him on guard most of the time, but I did screw up once. But yeah, it was very tough having that knight there in that aggressive position. I'm down on material, and they've got all their heavy hitters ready to go, ready to swing in with that queen, and I was just waiting for it, and it never happened. I feel like, man, it's just like I felt like they had like so many tactics possible. I mean, if he like, let's just say he moves his knight to c6. Even that, like just sacrificing the knight, if I take, he can just like go bishop takes g7, just like sacrifice it, heck with it. And what am I gonna do? Okay, am I gonna take back? I'm now in a mate net, guaranteed. The knight and the rook are just swinging in. Like I can't do anything. I'm just hopeless. I'm lost. I'm so lost.
Well,
He
you
could
mean
just
like this, and
yeah.
then
Okay, he checked me there. Well, I would say maybe check me first with the rook, maybe, or the queen. I'm not sure which one. I was thinking the rook maybe, and then I do that, and then maybe the queen. Yeah, the queen's got me check again. It looks like it's almost over, and then maybe I do that, and then he could check on h4 with the queen. That's another check.
okay.
Maybe this is going to be a perpetual check if I just jump back and forth. I'm not sure. Um,
Go back to
I mean, maybe I'm winning. I'm up material. I thought he could be that reckless. Maybe he couldn't. I don't know. I'm up on material right now. And I think my king's getting safer-ish, but I mean, he could take on h7 now, maybe. I don't know. It feels
no.
very uncomfortable for me. I guess I could take their pawn now on c2. Maybe I was being reckless. Maybe they'd have to think it through a little better. I was just kind of winging it off the top of my head. But just those ideas in general, I was like, I'm just screwed. Like, I'm so done. But yeah, I mean, with the first move I said in that series, I just said knight to c6. Well, what if he actually, was a little more strategic than that, and he went knight to g6? That would have been, not just clowning. Like, I was just thinking he could do. My point with that was he can play anything and still win. But okay, that pawn move was okay. Wait, it wasn't even. No. Go back. Yeah, you messed it up. Okay, from here, if he goes knight to g6. Okay. Now what am I gonna do? If I take, then they're gonna be like, immediately that bishop could just come in. And wait.
I don't know. I think you're all right. I think you're kind of all
Really?
right here. I don't know if anyone else sees anything.
You think I'm seeing ghosts or
Wild.
something? I don't know. It just seems like they got a lot of people pointing at that king. And I just felt
Yeah,
like...
no, I agree.
Wait, go back?
In sack and stuff.
Go back 2 times?
With her.
Okay, what if they go knight takes f7?
Okay.
And then what would I do? Take with the... No, I can't take with a bishop. If I can't take with the king either. It's just a free... I can't do anything. There's no reprisal. That's a free pawn. Wait, go back? What do you do? I don't see what you're doing. Yeah, I said, okay, so knight takes f7.
Hold on, I have to play one more move. Wait, is this the right position? That's not the right position. Your queen's here.
Go back again? Okay, yeah. Knight takes... Wait. Oh, I had to do that? Okay, knight takes f7, and then what do I do here? I feel like... I can't take with the bishop, because then their
Why can't you take with the bishop?
f3 rook can take my bishop.
Okay, and now what?
Oh, then I could take back the king. So that's not as bad as I thought. Well, no, because now they can check with the queen. They could go queen to f4, and then what? What do I do? King to g2.
You probably go king g8
I
here.
mean king g8. I'm sorry. And then
I think you're good here.
oh, so there's not.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't really see.
so there wasn't the threat I thought for like an immediate mate. So I was still not in mate, but I wasn't good. Go back. So let's go back to the game now. So we just ruled out any type of mate patterns heading in. So there wasn't any mate patterns. Maybe that's why they didn't play any mate patterns. But I still felt like really, I mean, it seemed like that. I mean, they're up definitely on material.
Yeah, here you're not good, but in the other variation where they sack
Yeah, the sack was dumb.
the knight,
But they never
pawns
sack.
were good. Yeah.
I was suggesting the sacks just to see if they had any like forced, like kind of forcing mate nets. We were just testing it. But yeah, they're so up on material. It's like, yeah, what I'm doing here is kind of out of desperation. I don't know. I feel like I don't have counterplay except that pass pawn, and I feel like that pass pawn is kind of my only hope. But I don't really know what to do. I kept thinking, should I go a8 with my rook to protect this plan to try to promote or cause some kind of pressure with the pass pawn just creeping toward some kind of threat there. It's all I could come up with, and it actually ends up working. I end up winning the game from the A pawn, but I don't know how. It seems impossible. This was like just this was like a Hail Mary, and it ends up working. It's so funny. I still don't even know how it's
I'll see
possible.
how. So, yeah, this right here just loses rook. But
Look at that! I'm down to two
Wait,
pieces.
Go back. Go back a few moves, 2 moves. Instead of pushing the pawn, you have something. Oh wait, never mind. Actually, my bad. Never mind.
so it takes.
See, I didn't see that
Oh,
coming.
okay.
That was a mistake on my part. I was like, ooh, I could finally. I didn't see that dark squared bishop. I didn't see it. It was like blind spot. Well, I don't even know. Like, let's go back. What could I do here? I supposedly I missed some wins too. Where's that at? It has to be around here somewhere. I have 2 missed wins according to the engine. I didn't analyze it with the engine or anything. It just said that after the game as like a little hint or whatever.
I
Well,
wouldn't
I think-
always
I could
trust
be wrong
that.
on this, but I think missed. Oh wait, go ahead.
I was gonna say if you didn't fully go into like the game review and you saw it where it's like telling you to run game review, I don't think it's always actually accurate to your game because I've seen it say like 5 blunders and then I actually ran the game review and it said like 1 blunder after
Oh
running it.
wow! Because it said I had 6 blunders. Did you guys see 6
If you actually
blunders?
ran the game review and it said that, then I think it's true. But
I didn't run their game review.
I have seen it like
It was just the recap
yeah, I'm
thing.
not sure if it's always accurate then.
I'm just saying, in your guys' opinion, from what you've seen so far, did it look like I made 6 blunders? I don't see 6. I saw the 1 failed back rank mate attempt, but I don't see like, I don't feel like I was like playing completely horrible. Unless if they think this pawn push was just bad and I had counterplay, if there was something else they're seeing. I just didn't know what to do. I mean, look how many. What do I do? I can't start bringing my pawns forward. They're like hawks all over my king side with these long range pieces. Everything's pointing. I feel like they're just gonna mate me any second. I
Well,
had
let's see
no-
how it. So you attack queen. Okay, but we miss it. But that's all right. You
I
use
was
that
gonna
kinda
I was gonna
cover.
retake, but I thought if I retake, the game's over. I was like, oh, if I just go A2 instead of retaking the bishop, maybe they didn't see that. Maybe they're gonna start trying to mate me and forget about the pawn, and then I might get a lucky mate.
Your
maybe.
opponent's really low. Your opponent's really low on time here. All of a sudden, I'm noticing too, right?
Yeah, which I that gave me a little bit of hope. Like, I wonder if they'll make a mistake because they're on time.
Wow. So wait a minute. So they.
I was in
Okay.
check because right here I was like, ooh, I've got mate. I even clicked on the queen and I dragged it to the rook, smiling. I was like, yes.
Oh.
Wait, go back. Go back. You're cheating. I wasn't there yet. Okay, stop. I was gonna go queen takes e1, but that's an illegal move. Wait, go back. Queen takes e1 right here is an illegal move. It went, and I was like, wait, why can't I mate? I won. And then I looked. I was like, oh, I'm in check. It was a discover check. I was like, oh man. So that they outplayed me again, and so I had to move my king to h7, and then I was like, oh, it's game over. And then all of a sudden, I was like, wait, I might have won, and then I I take the rook, and then I think they might be able to go queen to d1, and I can take, and it's made.
Oh,
That was the
Yeah.
most insane swindle ever, right?
well, it looks like they might have been in time trouble, so they probably didn't think it through.
Well, of course.
But,
Next time you have to under promote to the rook for maximum
for full humiliation.
stuff.
And so we didn't
Yeah,
do
for
the post-mortem, even though that was on the scheduled plan, and I think they were mad because that they got robbed. They got badly robbed. I mean, they earned this win. I feel like they kicked
they
my
did.
butt.
Yeah, they did. I mean, yeah, but time matters too. So they were in time trouble and they made a bad move.
And actually, the time trouble was their fault too, because we were supposed to play
Right.
90-30, and they chose 45-15 because they said they were tired. So last minute they made it shorter, which ended up harming themselves. Because if it would have been a longer game, they would have probably easily won.
Did it load from the library? Well, I'm gonna try to draw.
Nope.
Here we go.
How quickly did they play rook takes b1?
You'd have to go back. I don't remember.
What move are we on? Rook takes b1.
Rook takes b1.
A few seconds.
What was oh, wait. Did they have some kind of they should have wait, go back? Huh. Not that far back. I'm just curious like if what was okay, let me just pretend I'm white. Cuz obviously they messed up, but I want to see what they should have done. Okay, so I put them in a little bit of a pickle.
So I think after you played king h7, I think white has a move that just wins the game on the spot, in my opinion.
King h7? Oh,
To
king
go
h7.
forward
Okay.
2 moves.
Oh, you
So
mean back?
rook e1 and then king h7.
I think you got to go back.
Rook 1.
And then
And then-
black played
wait.
king h7. And now here I think white has a move that ends the game.
Okay, so let me try to find that. Oh, they could just go
Yeah.
queen to d1 and just brute force me. I can't do anything about that. I would lose.
That's still good, but not the move I was looking at.
Okay, let me find the
Yeah.
better one. Let me find it. Okay.
Okay.
They could go. Oh, they could go
So you-
queen to e4 check, and they're defended.
That's
yes, that's it.
And then if I take,
yeah.
then
Then your pawn's stuck here.
Yeah, then we don't have anything.
Your pawn's stuck in.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they could have easily won then. I don't think that was that hard to find. Maybe they
Trick
even
hurts, man.
wait. Go back. They might have even had another. Okay, what if they did?
Yeah, queen d3 does the same thing.
Oh, wait. Does
The,
it?
the other rook is defending that.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so that's two moves they could have done different. Go back. Let's see. Oh, how about
They
this?
also have.
How about they go h3? Just great to lift.
But then you take the rook with check. That's a free rook.
Doesn't matter. They're up. They're still up by 3 pieces.
Okay, well, you take the rook with check, and then you take the bishop, so now you just won 2 pieces, and you're about to queen still. So that's not the most convincing.
You think they would win off that, or it would be like probably even at that point?
No, I think white is maybe winning, maybe, but it's like very, very close now all of a sudden. Whereas if they play queen d1, you haven't mentioned queen d1, but that's completely winning also. Just defend the rook.
Oh yeah. I think I said that
Queen.
first. Yeah, I said that first.
No, that was his first
Yeah,
move. Yeah.
and also queen anywhere on the e file is also defending the rook, also winning.
Oh, rook e3 is winning too.
Yeah, same idea. Yep.
Rook g to e3. So they had like tons of moves. That's why it was definitely a swindle, I think.
if you play rook to e3 right now, look at the notation after you do it. No, you can only make one because only one of them is legal, right? So if you play rook e3, notice in the notation it only says rook e3. It doesn't say rook e to e3 because the other is illegal. So you actually don't need to distinguish between the two of them.
Oh, well, I would still do that because
I know. It's just a small little quirk about the system.
Okay.
If it's an illegal move, then you don't need to specify which one to do.
Well, what would happen if I wrote that on my scorecard at an over-the-board tournament? Would the director fix that when he's entering it in the computer or something?
I mean, if you enter it in the computer, it will say rook e3, but they'll know exactly what you mean if you say rook
Oh,
g3.
yeah.
That's the only legal version.
Because they just followed the scorecard on their analysis board when they were making it, right? So yeah, that's another one. We came up with like 6 winning moves then. So they almost had to try hard to find how or to lose, right? Like, what did they do again? I don't even know how they lost now. We found so many ways to win. Okay, so retaking was the only losing move. They played the one losing move. Right? They did the only thing they couldn't do. Everything else they could have done would have won.
I got one more move for you. You can play rook f1 also.
Where at what move?
Right here, you can play rook f1 and you can play rook d1. Those are also 2.
Oh, yeah. Wait, could you go king to f1?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
King to f1 wins too. King to f1 wins.
King f1 also works. Yeah.
King to f1. Do that one.
King to f1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so crazy. How did I win this? I got so lucky. This is just pure luck. I think it was like audacious to even attempt. I didn't plan this or anything. I was so lucky. This is just random. It was just instinct and luck. And they had to give it to me too. And the funny thing is, this wasn't even a bullet game.
This is a good idea to try these things when you're completely lost, because their brain might short circuit.
I didn't even plan this though. I was just like, well, there was one other game that I was completely lost. Yeah, that was the game you went over with me, Nose. And the computer, I put it on hardest mode and I let the computer play my completely lost position, and it beat me kind of like this. I was like, whoa, how did it win? Like, I was completely destroying it. It just kept pushing that pawn every time, and then I ended up, like, screwing something up. Like, there's little tactics or weird stuff at the very end when once that pawn gets near that back rank, suddenly, like, you have to think for a second sometimes. Like, there can be a little bit complications if you're not paying attention because you're overconfident. And that's where it gets dangerous. And that's exactly what happened here. And I guess I just kind of learned from that game this kind of swindle. I got totally lucky, but I just had this sense that if I keep moving that pawn forward, this person's going to have to think for a second. If they don't think at all, they think they already won, I might be able to do something. I didn't even have hope. I was just like going off of like, I don't even know what else to do.
It's a good life lesson, man. Never give up, you know.
Yeah, I felt like I shouldn't give up in general because my tendency would be to quit like 8 moves ago. Like maybe even after that back rank mate sacrifice thing where I thought I had it and I miscalculated. I looked at the resign button. I was like, I should just click resign. This is ridiculous. But then I was like, oh, this is a dojo member. They set aside time in their schedule for this. I'm gonna not be a bad sport. And for me to win, that I would have never. Oh my goodness, I would have never thought that in a million years. I thought they played so well. I felt.
Right.
I haven't looked at the engine. Maybe they made a lot of mistakes, but I didn't see any.
I don't know. I have to go kind of soon, but I wouldn't mind running through one of my games real quick if you all wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
Sure.
Okay, I always forget where to Go to load this shit though.